your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Yes. On a Monday, Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And this is what we love. Here from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There's no case of the Mondays. I love Mondays. Now, Tuesdays, that's another thing. Unless I'm having Taco Tuesday, you know I'm not a big fan of Tuesdays. But Monday, you're still reliving the weekend. There's so much to go over. There's so much hope at the beginning of the week. Once you get that crust out of your eyes, or I don't have to do that now since I never sleep with my little one. But there's so much hope going into the new week. You get to see your coworkers. You get to hang out with people that you may not have seen over the weekend. You had a nice little break. You're ready to take on the next 5 days. If you work a normal 5-day week, if you work more than that, then we appreciate you as well. Make sure you take some time for yourself. And it is going to be quite the time here on the Allen Stiles Show. Kyle Ledbetter behind the glass for us today. Real quick, before we do anything else, I was listening very carefully and very intently on Friday when our friend Kyle Draper said what he had to say and let the good people of Sacktown Sports know that he will be leaving the station in his current capacity, and I'm very excited for the things that he's going to be able to do in a different capacity here at the show. Kyle Draper, Philly guy. Obviously, I have ties to Philadelphia, and Kyle has always been just a really nice person in general and always open about questions that I've had for him just as far as my career, things like that. I think the one thing, because, I finished the show, and then right after the show, I'm decompressing. So there are times where I would catch the show for, the first 30 minutes when I'm driving home, whatever the case may be. But what I realized listening to Kyle Draper on Friday is just how open he was with people. And we talk a lot on this show about transparency and being real. And anybody that I've ever had as a mentor or anything like that, they've always said, just be yourself. And I think my first year at Sacktown Sports, I kind of struggled with that, being from the Bay Area. And at that time, that was at the height. That was right after Beam Team season with the Warriors and the Kings and people not knowing much about me, who's this guy from the Bay. And I tried to figure out what my voice was supposed to be here in Sacramento. And through conversations with people like Kyle Draper, it turned out that the voice doesn't change. You are who you are. And I want to give a special shout out to Kyle Draper for doing that each and every day he was here on the station, and I'm sure I'll still run into him, and I'm sure he'll still have jokes for me, and I'll definitely have jokes for him. So wanted to give a shout out to Kyle Draper. Really appreciate what you did for the station and for myself, even if you were a little too busy to do crosstalk. All right, I had to throw that in there. Shout out to Kyle Draper. But heck of a show for you today. Don't look now, but the Niners tied for the best record in the NFL. I think it's between them, the Lions, the Eagles, and my pick. I'm trying to tell y'all, you should have done it before this weekend, but stop sleeping on my Zont King, Baker Mayfield. Stop sleeping on the Buccaneers. Okay, now they were missing Mike Evans. They still found a way to get it done out there in Seattle. Obviously, we don't know what to do with Seattle and the bridge quarterback. I have a lot to say about the bridge quarterback conversation as I watched Geno Smith stink up the joint again and again and again. Yeah, he's accountable. Well, what's the whole thing about being accountable when you stink, by the way? Right? What's the point about being accountable if you're continuing to do the same thing? When I had my tech job, I had a boss. He was very self-aware. He was the guy, and a lot of people know people like this, he was the guy that would cut you off while you're talking and try to finish your sentence. Right, Kyle? Try to say a random statement right now.
I think that Brock Purdy is washed.
Washed. Yeah, washed. He would do that in meetings all the time, and he would just straight cut you off, and it would drive people nuts. Now, here's the kicker. He knew he did it. We would have these end of the quarter, whatever, evaluations, and he knew what he was going to get. But he continued to do it. So I give him kudos for being self-aware, but he continued to do it, and it didn't get better. Geno Smith every weekend now is telling us how he needs to be better. It's telling us how much he knows that he can be a better player. Then he goes out and continues to throw the ball to the other team. Daniel Jones and the Colts. This is the worst part. They might be the worst team in the NFL right now. When you look at their losses, 30-plus point loss to the Jaden Daniel-less Commanders, a 40-point loss to the Daniel Jones Colts. I know they've been good. And one more thing on it, and we have plenty to say about Geno Smith and the Raiders. I'm just getting started. But one more piece of this is that the way that it's happening, you look at what the Patriots are doing last night, beating the Bills. That is the biggest, best example of why week one means absolutely nothing. We all get all caught up in week one, and that's what we're always going to do. But week one means absolutely nothing. It means something, obviously, in the record book and for your schedule, but it means absolutely nothing. That Raider team was a facade. That Raider team was blasphemy. It was fake. And myself included, look at this. And now we see the real thing. And you know what? It's not even the real thing because I don't think the Raiders are this bad. But clearly that team we saw in New England, that was more so New England finding their footing. And I know Brock Bowers hasn't been healthy, but the whole thing has looked a mess. But I have more on the Raiders and just that bridge QB conversation. And this is a 30-minute commercial-free segment as we start the top of every hour, your Kings flagship home of the Sacramento Kings, the Beam Team. And speaking of the Beam Team, we will talk to Brendan Nunez at the bottom of the 11 o'clock hour while he is in the car. Don't worry, hands-free. While he is in the car on the way to practice. But we're going to talk to him about what happened over the weekend, any updates with training camp, how everybody is feeling there. Also in the realm of the Sacramento Kings, Devin Carter, I'm telling y'all, during one of these breaks, if you have not looked, his shot looks completely different. It looks completely different. We were talking about it with Whitey Gleason. It looks completely different. And I'm sitting here thinking, is it crazy to say, and I believe he's 23 years old now, is it crazy to say, now look, ceiling is different than being an actual player, right? Jalen Brunson's ceiling. When he came out of Villanova, nobody thought that he was going to be this. We understand there's a bunch of dudes at the YMCA in downtown Sacramento right now that have crazy ceilings, but they couldn't get their grades right, whatever it is, or whatever park you want to play at. We see them all the time, and you have to fulfill your potential or at least get closer to it. But I'm sitting here thinking, if Devin Carter were to take a leap, or even if he wasn't, the way we talk about Devin Carter, the collective we, and I'll say myself included, is it crazy to say that if you look at it based on how he projects, he actually has a higher ceiling than Keon Ellis? So it also led me to a conversation that I want to have today. Who is the furthest away? Now, we're not doing the typical who has the highest ceiling. This is a different version of that. Who is the furthest away from their ceiling? It's the high ceiling conversation, but it's in a different way. Who is the furthest away from their ceiling? For example, I don't know. I think that Domantas Sabonis is one of, actually not even Domantas Sabonis. DeMar DeRozan is at his ceiling, right? He's 36 years old. DeMar DeRozan is at his ceiling. Who else, though? When it comes to Zach LaVine, how close is he to his ceiling? How close is Domantas Sabonis? Obviously, Keegan Murray, the younger guys, the Maxime Reynaud's of the world. Who is the furthest away from their ceiling on the Sacramento Kings? So I'm really excited to have that conversation with all of you. 916-339-1140. It's how and when we're going to have that conversation. Also, we got some giveaways that we are going to explain in more detail throughout the show. And I'm very excited. I'm always excited to give people memories, right? My wife's birthday is in November. And I told y'all, you got to be careful because when you do the birthday thing before the birthday, sometimes it can hit your wallet double because you still got to give them something on their birthday. But in those moments when we've gone to a game, when we've gone to a concert, those are the types of things that you remember. You get your pictures, you get your photos. You remember that more than some of the jewelry that you buy them, than some of the actual tangible things that you can buy them. So we are really, really excited to give you a memory. That's how we're going to say it, to give you a memory. So more info for that for you coming up as well. Major League Baseball, the playoffs. Oh, my goodness. I'm so done. If the Dodgers win today, I might call in sick. They can't keep getting away with this, man. And the Phillies, I'm texting my buddies from Philly, they wouldn't even respond to me. They just one-word answers, wouldn't even respond to me. Because the Phillies are choke artists in the play. We can say that now. If they lose tonight, it's a wrap. And I don't know where they go from here. You know what I was thinking, Kyle? And maybe I'm crazy. And that's not a maybe. I'm probably closer to that than not.
But let's just suspend disbelief for a second.
Are the Phillies, hang with me now, it's a little different because it's baseball. Looking at their lineup, they continue to add to their pitching, and they can't get it done. Now, getting to the World Series is different than the Super Bowl. We understand that. But am I crazy to say the Phillies are fairly similar to the San Francisco 49ers? Because every season you wonder, what else can they add? They're just not getting it done. Now, the Niners, like I said, they've gone to a couple Super Bowls, but
the Phillies have been to a World Series.
And they lost. Are the Phillies the 49ers of baseball and vice versa?
I'm having a hard time dispelling it because the weird thing is, like, baseball's got a few of these, right?
Yes.
The Braves were that before they finally won without Ronald Acuna.
Right.
Then they brought in the Thunderbolts and won a World Series.
But the Phillies, they've been at this for a minute. They get Bryce.
Yeah.
They get Trey Turner. There's really nothing else that they don't really have any weaknesses. They just can't get it done when it matters most.
Yeah, and it was looking like they were never going to get it. Like, they had Bryce at first and they were terrible, and then they've kind of figured it out. But just going back through it, so first year they made the playoffs, went to the World Series, lost to the Astros.
Right.
Next year went to the NLCS, and if you'll remember, they lost to the Diamondbacks in 7 games, which was like the choke of all choke. Like, the Diamondbacks clearly were not as good as them.
Was that 2023?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. And then last year won the division for the first time because there were wild cards each of those years. And then it was like, oh, now they're legit. Won the division, lost to the Mets in the NLDS, and then this year won the division, 96 games, currently down 1-0 against the Dodgers.
Now, look, it's kind of a rough draw because the Dodgers are the Dodgers. And now all of a sudden you went from not having a bullpen to Tyler Glass now coming out of the bullpen for the Dodgers. They just figure out ways to do things. So we get all that, but eventually, again, going back to the Giants looking for a manager, the Phillies are spending a lot of money. They are that whole NL East is spending a ton of money, and not the whole thing, but obviously the Mets, the Phillies, and eventually you're going to have to get something done.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of thinking about basketball example, and I'm thinking like, okay, team that went to a World Series constantly in the playoffs, never gets it done. I kind of think of that kind of like the Heat or the Celtics before they finally won last year.
Well, I mean, honestly, we're saying it's the Phillies. It was obviously, the Dodgers had the 2020, but it was kind of the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers were at it for a while, spending a lot of money, too.
Yeah, but I feel like the Dodgers were a little different. The Dodgers were definitely the Celtics in the sense of, like, they were always there, they were always supposed to win, and they never got it done. I kind of think of this more so like, at first they exceeded expectation, then the expectation changed, and it feels like they haven't gotten there, which maybe that is the 49ers. Like the 2019 Niners were like, oh, how incredible, they finally made a Super Bowl, and then at a certain point the expectation changed as they kept going to conference championships. So I guess the Phillies, the Heat, the Niners, they're kind of all in that same kind of category.
And again, it goes to look, and here's the thing, it goes to window, and I thought the window was starting to close. A lot of people thought the window was starting to close for the Niners, but Kyle Shanahan is proving he can keep that thing open as long as he wants. And that's where the Niners are at now. They're in an outstanding position. We're going to talk about the Niners more at 10:30 because I think it is, if you look at all the other teams that are in the running in the NFC, the Niners have by far been the least lucky when it comes to being healthy. So they're going to have the cavalry coming. This is as good of a chance as ever. We saying it again, where the Niners could be in the Super Bowl, right? And I'll give some more examples as to why I believe that again at 10:30. So, like I said, plenty on the plate for today. You got you got your yams, you got a little bit of tri-tip, you got some mac and cheese. If you're our guy, you got some oxtails as well. If you're Chet Holmgren, so a lot to break down. Where's the drop, Kyle?
Oxtails, ribs, cornbread.
Thank you,
greens.
Thank you, Chet. Yes, we got all of that on the plate today. And I do want to get into one of my more let's say, complex style espressos to start the show off. Thank you, Kyle. Actually didn't go with it today. My in-laws were in town, and they drink Red Bull. So there was one extra Red Bull, so I decided to try that out because I'm looking for answers, Kyle, with this baby. I'm looking for the eyes. They just burn, man. And it's you know what it is? It's when you have to get up early for a flight and you're really excited to go. So even though your eyes are burning, you got to wake up at 4:15 in the morning. Your eyes are burning, but you're excited because you're about to go to Brazil. You're about to go to Panama to hang out with Allen's cousins, whatever it is. It's that feeling without the vacation. It's just the burn of the eyes. It's just the burn.
And it's every day.
And it's every single day. It's just your eyes burning, just fighting it over and over again. But shout out Baby Styles number 2. We love you. We love you. All right.
And now the in-laws are gone, so it's...
No, now it's, the training wheels are off. It's just, like I said, I need 12 more Red Bulls just to get through it. As we get into this style espresso, I'm watching Drake May last night. I'm watching Bo Nix, my guy Bo Nix, even though I'm a Raider fan. I'm watching I'm watching Cam Ward in that crazy game against the Cardinals.
Just insane.
And I think it's very simple. Very similar to what we say about the Kings, but even easier because in football, all you got to do is stink. You have to get out of Dodge when it's time to get out of Dodge. There are no examples. I guess maybe Baker Mayfield, but Baker, former first number 1 overall pick, and that's more on the Browns screwing it up than anything else. But there are really no examples of these recently, let's say in the last 20 years, of these bridge quarterbacks actually taking you to the promised land and winning a Super Bowl. These Kirk Cousins, now you can go to the playoffs. These Kirk Cousins, these Sam Darnolds, these Geno Smiths. And I realized something, and maybe I'm late to the party, because when the Raiders initially signed Geno, this is what fans do, right? When the Raiders initially signed Geno, I was not that excited. The Geno in a dome thing, that was created because, well, what else are you going to do? He's on your team now. So what else are you going to do? But I was not initially excited about Geno. I've been wanting the Raiders to restart it, and I know they have plenty of issues, not just a quarterback position. I've been wanting them to restart it and just take their medicine forever, the same way a lot of people want the Kings to take their medicine and restart forever, and they refuse to do it. And you look around at the league right now, like I said, Baker, kind of an outlier because Baker was a number 1 overall pick, and he did get put in a pretty good situation. It's a good division for him. And Baker's balled out. I just think that Baker doesn't count maybe the same way as some of these other bridge QBs.
It's not like they won the Super Bowl 2 years before he got there.
And they haven't, exactly. And they also haven't won anything yet. They're in a good position, but we saw the same thing with Geno. And this has been a couple years for Baker, but we saw the same thing with Geno for a couple years in Seattle. We saw the same thing with Sam Darnold in Minnesota. They can win you games, but if you are actually trying to accomplish the main goal, which is win the whole thing, very similar to basketball, you have to take your medicine and go get a top whatever, or at least take a swing at getting a top whatever quarterback, right? That's just that is my first point in this style espresso. Then it gets a little bit more complex, and I'm going to put myself on blast here. Sometimes I feel like a hypocrite a little bit because we've had all these convos about the A's, and I've tried to be as, I don't know if neutral is the right word, but I've tried to be as neutral as possible, letting people enjoy things out here in Sacramento with the A's being renting, I guess, or just hanging out here for a couple years. But at the same time, hey, when it comes to Oakland, I know there might be some back and forth with, arguments and some ugly things might be getting said on both sides, but not necessarily on Oakland maybe the way you think, right? Or you don't have the whole story, and that's okay, right? Let's just try to keep things as respectful as possible. But we have more conversations about the A's, obviously, and sometimes I'll see it on the text line. Well, Allen, you're a Raider fan, and I got to wear that. Because at the end of the day, life isn't black and white. It's not as simple as maybe you think. I'm very open about being a Raider guy. And honestly, it's just a result of not knowing what I was going to do. Kyle Ledbetter right here. Chargers went to L.A. He had a decision to make. Decided to be a fan of a different team. I have friends that were fans of the A's. Now they're Cubs fans. They decided to be fans of a different team. I have friends that are still A's fans. The number one thing on the show is we don't police fandom. But with all that being said, all the Raiders have done since moving to Vegas, it has been the ultimate cash grab. That's been the whole thing. It has been the
cash grab.
It has been the ultimate cash grab.
This seems like a cash grab.
Cash grab after cash grab after cash grab.
Cash grab.
Let's go get Gruden. That'll put butts in the seats. It was a disaster. Then they tried to become the Las Vegas Patriots and bring Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's go get Jimmy Garoppolo because we love Niners hand-me-downs.
Josh McDaniels.
Complete disaster. The only reason they hired Antonio Pierce is because they messed up things with Rich Bisaccia.
And he gave a speech.
And they thought, okay, let's do the right thing this time and hire the guy that everybody is behind. The whole thing has been a disaster class. And now Gino, I know Gino is better than this, but you stink right now. And I actually think the Raiders, I truly believe this. And they can turn it around and be right there at their 8-9 and go get another 8th pick in the 9th pick, whatever pick in the draft that they always get. Sound similar? Yeah, reminds me of the Kings again. But I actually believe, maybe I'm crazy, and you get Pete Carroll, put butts in the seats. Chip Kelly, put butts in the seats. Let's create the Las Vegas Seahawks. And the idea is not to compete for a championship. The idea is to be entertaining enough to keep people interested and to keep Raider fans interested. And I believe that what the Raiders are doing and how they're going about it, when you see all those, what was it, whether it's the Bears out there, whatever team. I don't know if there's a team that the Raiders would outdraw. I don't know, maybe the Cardinals, but they're close enough. I truly don't know. You'd have to be maybe the Titans, possibly the Titans. And you know Southerners, they love their football, so I don't know.
Saints got to be pretty bad right now.
No. Saints travel. Saints is not the Saints. I'm telling you right now. I think that the Raiders are actually in danger. And, you know, everyone loves the Raider logo. I actually believe that they are in danger of screwing up their brand for good. I do believe that. That's how bad it's been. Everybody was joking about the Rams and how it was SoFi South and all of those Niner fans out there. It is not much better in Vegas. It's not. I don't know if it's any better in Vegas. It's just harder to tell by the colors. You got dark blue and black. That red you can clearly see, not close to the Rams colors. But I think that the Raiders and how they're going about this, if they don't just take their medicine, go get a guy, go get a young QB. Look, I know Dame Lillard, shout out Oakland, he said go trade for Shador. You could do that. I'm not against it. Go get Jameis Winston. If you're just going to throw picks, might as well go get Jameis Winston. But I believe the Raiders are in danger of screwing up their brand for good. And some of you are here for it, and I can't blame you. I'm still going to be a fan, but this is completely embarrassing. They are probably the worst team in football, and I have no clue where they go from here. Where we're going to go from here is we're going to talk about actual good football and a good football team, possibly an elite football team, the San Francisco 49ers. Let's talk about the Niners and how that window went from cracked open to wide open. Don't move. More Allen Stiles coming up.
The excitement of the game is here, and so are the model year-end savings at Stockton Honda, the best Honda dealer in Northern California. Score big with low payments, more for your trade, and a huge selection. Don't wait. The clock is ticking at StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study, recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Listen to the 49ers Red Zone Report daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be.
The Travel Guys, new on KHTK 1140 every Saturday at 11 a.m.
We'll make you a smarter traveler. Tips you can use on the road and at the airport, plus reports from top consumer advocates.
The Travel Guys, 11 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Hey man, gaining weight, dragging throughout the day, losing your drive? It could be your testosterone. The team at Revive Men's Health Sacramento gets men back on track with the energy and drive they've been missing. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations, and witness to hundreds of success stories.
I've seen guys come in worn out, discouraged, and just not themselves. A few months into treatment, they're standing taller, speaking with more confidence. It's like watching someone come back to life, like a light switch gets turned back on. And the spouse says, "Thank you, I really have my partner back, better than before." That's the moment it all clicks for me, and that's why I do what I do.
Since 2011, Revive Men's Health has helped more than 120,000 men regain their energy and drive. Start your story today with an in-clinic visit or a secure video appointment. Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000. Or schedule anytime at revivemenshealth.com.
Stockton 99 Speedway, Saturday, October 18th. It's championship night. Late models, modified, sprint cars, dwarf cars, and the insane trailer racing. Plus a huge fireworks show to light up the sky. Tickets start at just $20. Don't miss the season finale. Stockton99.com. Sacramento. Buckle up. Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet is dropping one day of insane DeWalt deals on October 18th. Bare tools, batteries, and kits will be at insanely low prices. Spend $1,000 on DeWalt products and get $75 off your order instantly. Spend $100 and get a lotto scratcher with prizes up to $1,000 off your next order. That's one day only. October 18th at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet, 6701 Power Inn Road. For more info, visit fastenersinc.net. Fasteners Inc. Better tools, better prices. Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
On Sacktown Sports.
$12 we have a giveaway. Sacramento Kings, Kimpton Sawyer giveaway. We have partnered with the Kimpton. We are very excited about this one. Sacktown Sports is giving you a chance to win a pair of lower-level seats to the Kings versus OKC on November 7th, a one-night stay at the Kimpton Sawyer, and a $200 gift card to Revival, downtown Sacramento's social hotspot. I'm trying to get up in there. Enjoy elevated vibes, stylish crowd, and the perfect view of the beam after a Kings win over the defending champs. We will have that keyword for you at 916-339-1140. At 12 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. I mean, that's got to be one of our, look, I'm just saying. That's got to be one of our best giveaways. And I might be hitting up, I'm just kidding. I was going to say I'm hitting my wife to get the giveaway. I'm just kidding.
Commit crimes is what Allen says.
I am just kidding. But look, giveaway's so good, make you want to commit a crime. That's what we're doing here on the Allen Stiles Show.
We're committing crimes.
Thinking about it, I'm just kidding. 12 o'clock, this is one you don't want to miss. And if you have that special someone and you're trying to make sure things stay on the right track, a Kings game,
lower level tickets,
a stay at the Kimpton Sawyer,
the MVP,
and a $200. So then, you know what I mean? 'Cause look, I'm not. Sometimes, hey, well is fine. Sometimes can't afford the goose. Things like that. But $200 gift card, girl, you can get whatever you want for up to $200. Then we got to go back. Then we got to go back to the other stuff. But it's going to be a great time, and hopefully it is you. We're doing it all week. Hopefully it is you that gets that opportunity to have some fun with your significant other or friend, whoever you want to take. So that is coming up at 12. Also, as we discussed in the 11 o'clock hour, this is what we're talking about, man. This is what we're talking about, having opportunities that Vegas does not see coming. So, Ja Morant suffered a sprained left ankle. He's considered week to week. Brett Siegel, that's from DeMichael Cole, who covers the Grizzlies, does an outstanding job covering them. Brett Siegel reminds us that based on who's out, the Grizzlies to start the season could be without Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Zach Edey, or Brandon Clark to begin the 2025-2026 season.
A whole lot of KCP.
That's crazy. So this is the stuff we're talking about. You get out hot, other teams can't stay healthy. You can. You never know what could happen. So plenty of Kings talk coming up at 11 o'clock. But right now, I'm here to tell you right now that the Niners are in a prime position to, one, win the division, dare I say, get the number one seed in the NFC, and double dare I say, get back to the Super Bowl. And why is that? Well, let's go through the other NFC. Let's start with the division. Sam Darnold with the Seahawks. That's all I have to say. And Sam Darnold hasn't played poorly. They're almost acting like, and Kyle, we were just talking about your former team. The Seahawks are kind of Chargery right now. Whatever, they're right there, right? They're not playing poorly.
Jackson Smith and Jigba's killing it.
Insane. But they're losing last-second field goals. They just can't put it together. And the Niners already beat them once, and they beat them in Seattle, right? Was it in Seattle? They've already beat the other best teams in their division on the road.
They also don't play the Seahawks again until week 18 when the division might already be locked up.
Exactly. So you already beat the Seahawks. Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold, and they are turning into the Seattle Chargers prior to Jim Harbaugh. Where, by the way, the Chargers, they're starting to show. They're starting to charge you a little bit, to be completely honest.
I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you.
Well, hold on now, because you also, Kyle, tried to ride the Cardinals wagon, and I told you, don't do it. Do not get on the Cardinals bandwagon.
Why? What happened?
Well, the Cardinals,
they were up 21-6, right?
Yeah, it's just a very Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's not even his fault, but it is, because that's just what that team does. So that's the other team in your division, and of course, I haven't mentioned the big bad wolf, the Los Angeles Rams, who the Niners just seem to own. The Niners, I mean, you talk about a mental, now I get it. Whenever the Niners face the Rams again, the Rams are going to be hyper-focused. But it doesn't really matter to me, because the Niners beat you with second and third and fourth stringers. That's embarrassing at home, and it didn't look like a home game. But at home, all right? So that's what it is. And by the way, I saw somebody from St. Louis say, so glad I lost my team for this. It was a picture of all the red. They said, so glad I lost my team for this. And I know these teams, they go to these big cities and they're worth so much more money now. But, I mean, that's such a great point, because it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. All three of them, Raiders, Chargers, and Rams, it's all embarrassing.
Yeah, all teams that don't put any fans in the stands. The Chargers and Raiders have just acknowledged we're not even going to try anymore.
Yeah.
Right? At least the Rams are still like, we're trying to cultivate something and build something. The Raiders and Chargers are like, we don't care. We're selling tickets.
Yeah.
With Chargers, we don't got to pay rent at this stadium.
And here's the thing, you know my, I guess my theory is winners will, look, you get the bandwagons, and that happens when, and I get it, the Niners have been really successful, but the Rams won a Super Bowl, and that didn't even bring, I know there's a lot of stuff to do in L.A., but that didn't even bring out I'm sure they got some bandwagoners, but there's too many people in L.A. It's such a town that is a smorgasbord of people moving into the town. They're moving into the town, and they're already fans of their own teams because they're not from L.A.
I will say, in the Rams' defense, the Gen Z and Gen Alpha kids will probably grow up to be Rams fans. It doesn't help the Rams now.
Look, how many of those Niner fans live in L.A.? Because all their kids are going to be Niner fans.
I mean, that's part of it too, but I do think the Rams are going to get some people. The Chargers, God, no one's going to, unless you're like trying to be trendy and like, I don't want to root for them because my friends root for the Rams.
Right. If the Chargers win, they'll get some bandwagoners.
Well, that's never going to happen.
But if they do, they would get some bandwagoners. So back to the Niners and why I think they could win a Super Bowl. So that's the NFC West. Okay. Now let's get to the rest of the NFC. I think the Lions are in a good position, but we've just seen the Lions in the playoffs. Last season, I know they were very injured, but the Lions, and we do a lot of comparisons on this show, they just remind me of that team that is just really good. And I get it, Dan Campbell biting kneecaps. It's funny that that's who Dan Campbell is, but the team is kind of the opposite. They're very aesthetically pleasing. They're not really a January, a December, late in the season team. They're not. And I know they had Sonic and Knuckles with the 2 running backs, but they're just not. And I don't know, maybe they can get over the hump, but I'm not picking the Lions over the Niners this upcoming season based on what they've done so far. Now, again, this week 5 is about to end tonight, but as of right now, the Niners have the most to hang their hat on when we talk about ceiling. The Lions cannot play any better. They got everybody on. They got Hutchinson back. They got everybody on the field. The Eagles, they're still fighting. This is what happens. The Eagles want to argue about not getting the ball enough. That report comes out. What happens? They lose their first game. You're telling me that's not connected? These wide receivers, they care about winning, don't get me wrong, but they continue to not like the offense when, unfortunately, it works. It works. You know, it reminds me of De La Salle a little bit. De La Salle, my alma mater, they've been running, I think they're still running that option out there. They got 3 running backs. One is Maurice Jones-Drew. One is his son. And if you're a wide receiver at De La Salle, good luck. You know what? You're just running cardio. Those brothers do not run the football or do not throw the football. And, you know, you have to make certain decisions. All these kids these days, they go to different high schools because they want to see what fits them. Now we get back to the pro ranks. A.J. Brown's thinking, yeah, I got paid, and yeah, we won a Super Bowl, but I kind of like playing football, and I like catching the football. And Devontae Smith is thinking the same thing. So I think that the Eagles, there was a really hot, I know they're probably the best team on paper, but again, they're right at their ceiling, and now they want to argue. So I don't know what's going to happen as far as Philly is concerned. Outside of that, I like the Buccaneers. They're going to get Mike Evans back, and we'll see what happens there. But again, just because this team has been here, the Niners came into the season with a chip on their shoulder. And when you look at the ceiling, once again, the Bucs are still closer to their ceiling. They had Mike Evans early, and they recently lost him. Unlike the Niners, they haven't had any of their guys all season long. We have not seen anything. As far as Brandon Ayuk is concerned, then you're losing Ricky Pearsall, you're losing Juwan Jennings. I mean, these are guys that Kendrick Bourne was trying to find his way in the league somewhere. And he definitely wasn't going to be catching passes wherever he did end up signing. So I look at this NFC, and then you have the other teams, right? The Packers, who I'm not going to believe in because every time you start to believe in them, they don't get it done. The Commanders, okay, we'll see what happens there. They looked good yesterday, but
I don't believe in them.
Yeah.
Is the point.
The Cowboys, everyone is starting to do the Dak is MVP thing because why? Because they have no expectation, so we saw that coming. Outside of that, I mean, what are we talking about? Who would you say right now, and I get it, weirdly enough, we haven't seen the Niners at full strength, but who in the NFC are you certain would beat the Niners at full strength? I am not certain any of them. I am not certain. I think something happened. What was it, a couple seasons ago? I think something happened with the Eagles. I do not believe that the Eagles would beat the Niners. I guess I'm not 100% sure. I guess I'm not 80% sure.
Here's how I'd phrase it. Here are the teams that I think would be point spread favorites against the 49ers. Let's say in San Francisco.
Okay.
The Eagles would probably be favored.
Yeah.
The Lions would be close. The Bucks would be close.
I don't think the Bucks would be.
I don't think they'd be favored, but we'll find out next week. They play the Niners in Tampa. I think the Bucks, the Lions, the Rams, and the Seahawks, you could have a conversation about all of those teams being, if not favored, like less than 3 point
It would be a
dogs.
pick'em. It would be a pick'em.
Yeah, exactly. Or less than 3 point dogs where the home field advantage is swinging. So, yeah, I think the Eagles are obviously still the best team in the NFC in most people's eyes, even though they haven't scored they haven't scored an offensive passing touchdown in 3 games. There's some crazy stat
and the Niners don't have a rushing touchdown somehow.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think the Eagles are perfect, but I still think they're the best team. And then you've got like 2 through 6 where they can all beat anybody, and the Niners are in that conversation.
And here's the other part of it that has been the biggest argument when it comes to how this is going to go this season for the Niners. It's because they stunk last season. It's their strength of schedule. You look at the Niners are 22nd right now, according to Tankathon, on strength of schedule. Here are the teams that have easier schedules than them: the Saints, the Bills, the Ravens, the Jaguars, the Steelers, the Jets, the Browns, the Bengals, the Broncos, and New England. Everybody else is in front of them. Everybody else. Miami's 21. Vegas is 20th. Doesn't matter. 19 is Tampa. Then after that, because of these divisions, the Eagles are at 15. The Rams are at 11. The Seahawks are at 7. The Commanders are at 6. Detroit's at 3. It's right there again. Now, can they get over the hump this time? And by the way, somebody did say, Allen, you can't compare the Phillies to the Niners because the Phillies did win one in 2008. That's fair enough because the Niners haven't won one in a very long time. But if we do bring it to, this half a decade at least, or maybe even a little bit more than that. 2008 was a long time ago, it feels like. But I hear you. Yeah, over a decade ago. What am I talking about? So I hear you, but 2008, I was senior in high school.
17 years.
Kyle, yeah, that's 17 years ago. So I understand, but I do still think there's a bit of a comparison there over the last decade plus. On the other side, Drew Eubanks understands why this has been the hardest training camp he's ever been a part of. That's what he had to say. Let's discuss if the Kings are going about this the right way when we return. Allen Stiles, Lockdown Sports.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-838-6767. That's 800-838-6767.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. That's why we're here to help you get your next DIY project done, even when the clock isn't on your side. Whether that's a new Filtrete filter or Bosch and Cobalt power tools, Lowe's has everything you need to feel like the MVP of DIY. So get it done and earn your Sunday. Shop now, in-store and online. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfield. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
They say the hardest part of getting something done is getting started. Well, we did that 30 years ago when California first took on the tobacco industry. Now, smoking is down 60%, lung cancer 52%. A couple of our cities have already ended tobacco sales. A California without big tobacco isn't just possible, it's already happening. See our progress at undo.org.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
The holidays are here, full of joy, family, friends, and yes, a little hustle and bustle. That's why you need Aleve. Between cooking, shopping, and all those extra errands, aches and pains can sneak in. Aleve is here to help with long-lasting body pain relief. Don't let body pain slow you down. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, you can keep up with the season's magic and all that awaits. Pick up Aleve and get back to what really matters, making memories. Use as directed.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbfstockton.com. That's mbfstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
The statewide special election is November 4th. All registered voters will receive their ballot in the mail. Check to make sure you're registered correctly at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 800-762-8019.
It's championship night at Stockton 99 Speedway, Saturday, October 11th. Pro Late models, mini stocks, legends, pure stocks, and mini modifieds in an all-out war for the crown. Kids 10 and under are always free. Grab your crew and hit Stockton99.com for tickets and info. Then be there when the dust settles and legends are made.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Yeah, it was a crazy. And you know what? I even said, or we said on Friday, it wasn't a great slate of games this weekend, NFL and even college football. Penn State going down to Jason's school, UCLA. That
Biggest
was
upset in 40 years.
Yeah, that was crazy. A guy that had never called plays before as their offensive coordinator was able to beat them. And James Franklin is trying to tweet through it. I don't know if anybody saw. He was on Twitter basically saying, we're on to Northwestern. And look, I mean, at least he left his comments open to say the A's won't do it, but James Franklin did. And he probably shouldn't have if you read the comments.
Does James Franklin have one of those like coaches shows? I wonder, because I know like Dabo still does like the call-in show, and that's like he always goes viral for that. Who, if you're doing if he does like the coaches show radio thing, you gotta just no callers this week kind of situation.
Yeah, and a lot of these games were good that we didn't think were gonna be good. And
Allen's boy Arch Manning got clapped this weekend.
Man, they're done. They're done. And come on home, Arch. I'll still take them. I'll still send the private jet for Arch, Mac Jones, anybody.
6th round pick you could get him for.
Anybody. He literally is the new Shador. That's what this is turning into.
Except might not be good at football.
Well, he probably, I mean, at this rate, Arch is not coming out in the draft.
He might not come out next year.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, he's got this year, next year, and another year of eligibility left. So he might be 2028.
That Lions game ended up, I guess it was somewhat entertaining towards the end just to watch Jake Browning remember how to throw a football.
That's a nominee for worst team in football now is the Burrowless Bengals.
No, I'm telling you what. The Raiders would lose to them. They would.
I don't think so.
They would. They would. So
Folsom Jake just chucking and ducking out there.
They barely, the Lions were in control, but kind of messed around a little bit, and the Bengals at least made it somewhat interesting. If you are a Jamar Chase fantasy football holder like I am, that was very nice to see. Commanders-Chargers was good, and then it wasn't. It was good in the first half, and then the second half, it just was a kind of a runaway train for the Commanders. Bucs-Seahawks was great. Titans-Cardinals was great. That's Bucs-Seahawks we knew was going to be great. Titans-Cardinals was just a kind of a nothing burger.
That was a chaos game.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
Broncos-Eagles was great. The Ravens are cooked. They do have an easier schedule, but I just don't see them pulling it off.
But they also play the Rams next week, which means Lamar could come back and they're 1-5.
Panthers-Dolphins, good game. Colts. Yeah, I'm not talking about the Colts. Raiders.
Did you see that video at the Panthers-Dolphins game? Or it's kind of a photos, but there were Panthers and Dolphins fans sitting next to each other, and as the game was going back and forth, they alternated who had to wear a paper bag. Like they had one bag, and they would pass it back and forth.
No, I did not see that, but good on them. And yeah, that was a much more entertaining Sunday than I thought it was going to be heading into the weekend. So one more game. I have no clue what to do with this game tonight. We'll talk about it. We've got some prop talk coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Jaguars, Chiefs. I don't know. It could be a good game. It could be the Chiefs just reminding everyone. It does. This is where the Jaguars need to make a stand, and hey, we are gonna, and this is what primetime football is for. Just like the Patriots did yesterday against the Bills, this is the Jaguars' opportunity. The Chiefs are healthier, but could this be an opportunity for Trevor Lawrence and Duval to show that, hey, we're not messing around the AFC South. We think that's something that can be ours, because they got to keep pace with the Colts, who just refuse to lose games.
And apparently the Titans now.
Yeah, and the Titans. This is what Drew Eubanks, the newest big man for the Sacramento Kings, he had to say, and he's been around, 7-8 years, and Drew Eubanks said this about the Kings training camp, quote, "It's been really good," Eubanks told reporters on Saturday. This is from NBC California, this article. Quote, "Honestly, this is probably the hardest training camp I've had or ever been a part of. It seems like every single day has been a 2.5 hour or 3 hour practice where we are getting up and down competing." That was from Drew Eubanks, and it seems like everybody is bought in right now. Like I said, we're going to talk to Brendan Nunez in about an hour about what he saw over the weekend, as he's going to be on his way to practice today. And there's really no negatives to take away from this. You're always going to be worried about injury. I look at Ja Morant, who just tweaked his ankle, and honestly, I don't know if Ja's the best example, because he's injury prone. I think we can say that now without, anyone trying to argue it, because he is. So I say that, and it is Ja Morant, but at the same time, I'm just thinking, okay, what is the balance between getting guys in shape and making sure? Because I would say, above all else, being the most in shape team is fine, but I would rather be healthy at the start of the season. I get it. You got to earn your paycheck. I understand that, but that's why it's a balance. And Doug Christie believes that he has that balance. Obviously, Scott Perry is right behind him. The assistant coaches, Mike Whitson's been around a long time. Bobby Jackson obviously knows the game. These are grinders, and they're trying to build a culture. I want, with these, we got preseason basketball coming up, which is really exciting. That's coming up in a couple days on Wednesday, and they need to win a game because they are 0 in their last, 4 preseason games. They need to win a game. Once you throw those preseason games into the mix, I know they can go back and forth on how much these guys will play, but I don't want them. I know they're making millions and millions of dollars, but from the aspect of making sure this team is ready to go to start the season, because those first 20 games, you're going to need all hands on deck. When we get close to the season, we'll read them off again. But I think it's 3 games against the Thunder, 3 games against the Nuggets, a lot of big hitters 3 games against the Timberwolves, a lot of big hitters to start out the season. You need to be healthy, but doesn't sound like there are any complaints right now. Everyone is just competing at the highest level and trying to get the summer rust off, all the golfing that they've been doing. So I like it. I'm just kind of cautious because, we've seen this stuff before, and some of it's unavoidable, right? You're a professional athlete. Injuries are going to happen. That's just part of the gig. So I'm just a little anxious, and I'm just an anxious person in general, but I'm a little anxious when I see the 2-a-day stuff and things like that, and I would assume that it will lighten up once these preseason games are starting and they're continuing to find this balance, not just now, but also throughout the season, because let us not forget, there was the whole word on the former coach. I'm not going to say the word. People can say I'm living in the past, but the former coach having them practice too much. So I'm really, really keeping a close eye on how this stuff moves forward heading into the actual season. Speaking of the actual season, Could we be sleeping on a Devin Carter leap? Yes, those words just came out of my mouth. And with that being said, who has the highest ceiling, or who is the furthest away from their ceiling on the Sacramento Kings? 11 o'clock hour coming up. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Balsam Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your priceless vinyl collection. Sure, you sleep on a futon because the money most people would have spent on a bed you spent on more records. But forget the fact that you can stream just about any song ever created for a few dollars a month. No, you need to listen to music in the most difficult way possible. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This March, Wendy's is fueling the madness with amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it.
Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
KHD 1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Getting to my beloved text line. Kicked off the show with a Styles Espresso complaining about the Raiders. And, yeah, in a weird way, comparing them to the Kings. And someone, 916, says, are you talking about the Raiders or the Kings? The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
But right now, the Raiders.
Yeah, I was talking about the Raiders. But, yes, it's this idea of we're going to survive. We're not going to say uncle, right? And at least the Seahawks, even though he was drafted in the 3rd round, at least they have Milrow. They can at least claim, hey, we have this guy, and whenever Sam is done, we think this guy is going to take over. The Raiders have no one. That dude that they took in the 6th round, they ended up getting rid of. So it's just a nightmare out there, and it just feels as if you don't care about your fans. You know, we've always said you have to at least make it seem as if you care, right? When we're talking about the Kings or any of these teams out there, if you are really just trying to get playoff revenue, right? And hey, you know, like the Brewers owner said, our job is to put out an entertaining product. We don't necessarily need to do every little thing perfectly to be a championship team. And some fans and people that heard that didn't like it. Whether he's right or wrong, I mean, these guys are these are businessmen and business people, right? They are there to make money. They're having their fun because owning a team, I'm sure, is tough, but also a lot of fun. But they also want to make money. And Jerry Jones, he is the number one example of that. So you just have to find, again, just like the Kings in training camp, but that balance. And I just think the Raiders are getting caught a little bit. They're telling on themselves a little bit with some of these kind of big name. Tom Brady is now a part owner and some of this stuff. And you signed Geno, 70 whatever million. And he's not this bad, but it doesn't really matter because they were never going to win anything with Geno anyway, which is fine. But we have to stop with these bridge QBs if you're not doing it for a reason, right? A bridge QB to me, you know what it is? And I'll be very honest with, my personal life as well. A bridge QB to me, how you approach a bridge QB is the same way you should approach junior college, community college. This is what I've always said, right? I started out at Sonoma State, got redshirted, and shout out to Sonoma State. I know they lost their baseball program, and that's really sad to see. But started out at Sonoma State, ended up getting redshirted my freshman year, had to get bigger, had to get stronger, ended up going to Kenyatta College, and after that is how I got my scholarship to Temple University. And I've always said, and I've always told people, right, because some people want to go to junior college to save money, get their grades right. I want to go to Cal. I don't have good enough grades out of high school. Okay, well, go take care of business at the Sierra, wherever it is, Sac City, and you'll have a better chance to get into Cal or wherever it is. It's all about having a plan. The people that struggle at junior colleges and at community colleges are people that don't really know what they want to do and they don't have a plan. Then 1 year goes by. They don't have enough credits. 1 year goes by. 2 years go by. 3 years go by. They don't have their AA. They don't know where they want to transfer. And people will say, oh, you give junior college a negative connotation, but that's not on the junior college. That's not on the community college. That's on you for not having a plan because you're still at home. You're kicking it with your friends from high school. And next thing you know, 3-4 years go by and you haven't necessarily moved forward. You don't have a purpose, right? That's the bridge quarterback. If you don't have a purpose for your bridge quarterback, you're not going anywhere. And all of these, like I said, at least the Seahawks, they got a third rounder, but Sam Darnold has that purpose. Sam Darnold had that purpose with the Vikings, right? The Raiders bring in Geno Smith, and I don't know what they thought it was going to be, then proceed to not draft a quarterback. They ignored Shedeur Sanders, even if you could have got him in the 3rd, 4th round.
They spent a lot of draft picks on other quarterbacks.
Right, and who are no longer on the roster.
Or trading a 5th-round pick for Kenny Pickett.
And so you have 2, right? Yep. Maybe their math is different than my math. They have 2 and Aiden O'Connell, which I don't know what he is.
Well, they also drafted a quarterback who's now a receiver.
And the other guy's gone now.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have 2 bridge quarterbacks and some dudes, and you have no plan. So I'm looking at that as a Raiders fan, thinking you're telling on yourself. You go get Shedeur Sanders to not tell on yourself. You're telling us all you want to do is keep this thing good enough, just good enough. And again, that person on the text line you're getting in your car right now, is Allen talking about the Kings or the Raiders? Same.
Well, I think there's also a part that we're missing here that I just want to bring up, which is one of the most important things about running a successful organization in any industry, but we can talk football specifically, is you have to be honest about where you are in the process and where your organization stands, right? The Raiders, who have gone through now 5 head coaches, if you count Bisaccia, 5 head coaches in 4 years, 3 general managers, they are now in a point where they said, no, all we need is Pete Carroll, or Tom Brady comes in and helps decide. All we need is Pete Carroll. All we need is a running back. All we need is a bridge quarterback, and we'll be able to compete in the AFC, which was not an honest assessment of where the Raiders were as an organization. They were rebuilding, and kind of like the Patriots, you could see the signs that they were growing. But the Raiders last year, we concluded, were 2 years away from being any kind of competitive, and they kind of tried to patch it together, and we kind of thought they would win 7 games, And, everyone except for 8 teams in the NFL wins 7 games now. But they were not honest about where they were as an organization, and now you're seeing some of those results.
Well, either they weren't being honest, or like I said, they just wanted to be good enough. They were honest internally to know we're going to be good enough, but Tom Brady does not think Gino's going to win a Super Bowl. It's Tom Brady. He knows that.
I don't know. I mean, Tom Brady was the one who brought in his guy from Tampa as the general manager, really wanted Pete Carroll as the head coach, and then Pete Carroll made the decision, I want to bring in Geno Smith. Yeah. So while maybe Tom Brady's saying like, hey, Geno's not the end of the thing, Tom Brady wanted this group in charge of the Raiders, and they've made the call that, no, the Raiders are this close or we're this far away.
And the same way the Giants, in part, they didn't say no to Bruce Bochy because of his age, but they want somebody that's going to be coaching for a very long time. I don't know how long we're going to be at this again. I know Pete Carroll's a vampire, but we're going to be at this again with the Raiders and just where they're going to go once Pete Carroll feels. Now, he might not ever feel like his time is up, but time is, Father Time is undefeated. So I just wanted to follow through on some of the texts that we were seeing. We're also about 50 minutes away from a giveaway. It is a ridiculous giveaway, probably one of the best giveaways that we've done, partnering with Kimpton Sawyer as well as Revival, downtown Sacramento's social hotspot. 12 o'clock, we are giving away tickets, a one-night stay, lower level tickets to the Kings OKC game November 7th, and $200 to Revival. I'm telling you, it's the best giveaway that I've done on this show, and that's coming up at 12 o'clock. You don't want to miss that. So if you're on the app, you should hop on over at about 11:30, 11:45 to make sure you don't miss it. Speaking of enough with the Raiders, let's get to some optimism. The Sacramento Kings and Devin Carter, as we talk about the hope. And I grind film from time to time. I haven't been doing it as much. Okay, with baby Sile, she's doing the baby grunts, and it's kind of hard to get her to sleep sometimes. But when I am able to focus, I'll watch the most random basketball, and I mean random. This summer, I watched the most random basketball player film that I could ever think of. And Devin Carter has been much maligned out here, I think, in Sacramento. And some of it is just due to injury. Some of it is because of who he has been connected to, being Monty McNair, who's no longer here. And some of it has been, we don't know you enough, right? We don't know you. And what he, again, connected to Monty McNair, what he seems to represent. Some of it was the position, right? Okay, he's got long arms, but it's another guard. We felt like we had 18 guards already. So Devin Carter has kind of had to get it out the mud throughout his career. And it's a very, very young career. And I'm watching this guy and seeing these clips of the new and improved jump shot. We have to see if it translates to the game, which I'm very excited to see in preseason. Because honestly, that is not what his jump shot looked like at Summer League. So it's almost as if Summer League happens so soon after the season. This is clearly something that Devin Carter started working on maybe right before Summer League, but he was not shooting like this at Summer League. And I started thinking that when Devin Carter got drafted not too long ago, let us not forget, it was just about a little over a year ago where some of the biggest Kings haters in NBA media had to fix their mouth to praise the Sacramento Kings, the Kevin O'Connors of the world. And look, it's so he don't even hate on the Kings anymore because there's just nothing to talk about, right? I guess they still do, but it's not the same as the Beam Team season when they were hating on specifically DeMontis Sabonis. But guys like Kevin O'Connor, okay, continued to say that Devin Carter was the steal of the draft. This is a quote. I would not, it's from Twitter. Kevin O'Connor said he would not include Devin Carter in a trade for Cam Johnson. That's what he said. Now, I don't think he was trolling. That's what he said. So you take all this, and I do wonder, I know there's a log jam, but I do wonder, is there a world where we are sleeping on Devin Carter? And it feels weird to say because a ceiling is just a ceiling until you get closer to it and you reach it. But when you look around this roster, and if you were to compare Devin Carter to the other guards, and I know Nick Clifford is kind of in that realm as well, so we could keep him or remove him. But if you compare Devin Carter to Malik Monk, if you compare Devin Carter to Keon Ellis, you could make the argument based on the rebounding ability, the defending ability, and if the shot continues to improve. I know he's not a great playmaker yet, but I do think watching Summer League, he's a little better than I initially gave him credit for. You could argue Devin Carter, as much as he was, Warriors fans wanted to say he was some type of throwaway, right? Because we just haven't seen enough of him. You could argue, now I get it, it's just ceiling, but you could argue Devin Carter has one of, if not the highest ceiling out of the Sacramento Kings guards that are not, obviously the starters, not the Dennis Schroeders or the Zach LaVines. Out of the bench guards, you could argue Devin Carter has the highest ceiling, which first glance or first listen might sound like a ridiculous statement, but remember, I'm talking about ceiling. He's a better, I don't know if he's a better athlete than Malik Monk, but he's a better defender. He's a better athlete than Keon Ellis. He might be a better athlete than Nick Clifford, but I was kind of separating Nick Clifford for now.
We don't know.
Because he's more of a wing. And I'm sitting there thinking, are we sleeping on a Devin Carter leap? I don't know if he'll be in a great position to take that leap because he's fighting for playing time, but I did sit there and I wonder, you know what? His ceiling is actually higher than Keon Ellis, which is crazy. He's 2 years younger, and just athletically, he's more athletically gifted than Keon Ellis.
Yeah, this is the tough thing about trying to be a team who's ready to compete, is either you're a rotation player on that team who's trying to compete, or you are, like you mentioned, fighting for the playing time. And the thing Devin Carter needs more than anything else is playing time.
Yeah.
Now, I've kind of looked at a silver lining of sorts and said, well, I guess in this world he could maybe go to Stockton and play a couple games here and there, and that can count for playing time, and he's getting run in these practices. But even in that 45-minute scrimmage we saw, what was that, on Thursday, I want to say, he played like 5 minutes in the entire 45-minute scrimmage. So even in practice,
he still made his mark.
He did make his mark. I get that. And he played a little bit more in the next day scrimmage where they had the third stringers kind of playing more. But even in practice, he's fighting for playing time. And practice is really his only chance to show what he has, barring an injury, right? If one of the players in the guard rotation gets hurt, then it opens opportunity. But other than that, that's his window to try and prove himself, is in practice.
Yeah, and it's easy when you're only one person away, right? If it's just you, and when it was just, I guess, Davion and Keon, if you will, and obviously Malik Monk, but they were kind of doing different things. But that was one thing, right? And honestly, Davion didn't really produce, and that's why they went to Keon, and De'Aaron got hurt out there in Houston. That's when this all started. You look at this team, and if Keon didn't produce, okay, Nick Clifford's up, right? If Malik doesn't produce, you could fill in that blank.
They'll go sign Russell Westbrook.
They could do that. Or, again, there's Nick. So I think the difference is, and this is somehow turning into another conversation to trade Devin Carter, which I'm not trying to do, but I don't know how we get to see his ceiling on this specific team. And again, that goes back to how much this team, I don't want to say believes in Devin Carter, but has prioritized Devin Carter, which doesn't seem to be a lot, because I know he's a little bit bigger, but you could make the argument, if he's not going to play 4, if Nick Clifford is not going to play 4, that's a direct shot, in my opinion, to Devin Carter, because they're literally Devin can maybe mess around and play some 3, right? I think Nick
they did have him last year.
Yeah,
right?
Nick is more set. He's a little bit bigger to play 3. But if the only argument to say that this wasn't a direct shot at Devin Carter's development is if Nick was going to play some 4, and he might, but I don't believe he has so far. in practice, at least not a ton. So if you literally just brought in somebody else to clog up the logjam, especially if he's going to handle the ball a little bit with Devin Carter. So I think Devin Carter has untapped, but it's extremely raw. I'm not going to call him Trey Lance, but it's similar, and there's nowhere for him to get that run.
So I do think that Devin Carter won't have a ton of ball handling play in games this year, right? Because if Devin Carter's on the floor, they're probably they would rather have DeRozan handle the ball than Devin Carter handle the ball, I would guess. So there's probably not going to be very many scenarios where he's the primary ball handler. So let's say he's playing on the wing a lot of the times. What are the things that we keep talking about needing from wings who are not primary scorers? Perimeter defense, shooting threes, right? And the Devin Carter three-point thing is kind of wonky right now, but like you said, the shot looks different, so that gives you hope that it might improve. But Devin Carter's game as the combo guard is going to be primarily through defending and then getting out in transition and facilitating and doing things like that. That is playing into Devin Carter's strengths. Again, it's just about how does that fit alongside Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, throw in Malik Monk, potentially he's going to play on the floor at the same time as Devin Carter. How are you going to make that work to Devin Carter's favor? And it might, I just don't know the answer right now.
Yeah, and it's funny because this person, they always kind of use him as an example, and I'm seeing him come up right here. You know what's funny? I was looking for kind of examples of players that had to do a couple years in the G League and then figured it out. It is so funny to me. Do you know how many years Fred VanVleet played in the G League?
2?
1.
1? Okay.
They parade him around, and he played 16 games.
He's an undrafted guy, too.
Well, I get that, and I'm just kind of separating where you were and just how the G League developed you. They parade Fred VanVleet around like he's this G League poster child, like he had to grind all these years. He played 1 year.
Yeah, no, he was good pretty quickly, and people don't remember that because the Raptors had so many of those guys that were draft and develop. Norman Powell was another example of it. The best example I could think of, to your point, I should see how many games he played last year, but Grady Dick with the Raptors spent most of his first year in the G League, and now he's expected to be a rotation player. And he was picked kind of around the same territory.
No log jam, though.
Not a log jam.
They kind of have to give him they haven't given him the keys. They're seeing, can you drive? Right? You can borrow the keys. Can you drive? Another guy, Pascal Siakam, 2 years. So I guess, to be fair, Devin Carter, this is only his second year. And I'm not comparing him to Pascal Siakam, but you could do and Pascal was drafted in the first round. So you could do 2 years, and I'm assuming Pascal was younger than, of course, Devin Carter, but who cares? You could do 2 years in the G League, and it's not essentially cooked, I guess is my point. The 1 years are one thing, but Pascal, again, like I said, he ain't 23. There's no way he was 23 at that time.
Let's see. I mean, he probably wasn't 23, but he was probably an older.
Oh, you know what? So I don't know for sure, but Pascal did come into to be fair, and we got to double check.
He was drafted at 22.
He was drafted at 22. Here we go. And I'm not calling Devin Carter the next Pascal Siakam. They don't even play the same position. But this is a guy, and there's probably more examples out there. Drafted at 22. I know it was the end of the first round, but drafted at 22 in the first round, had to do 2 years in the G League to kind of figure it out. And now he is who he is.
Yeah, and then immediately won, most improved player, I think he won. Yeah, most improved player in 2019, and then became what he was. You can hold out hope for that too, but there's also another factor at play with that, which is Pascal Siakam was in the G League when the Raptors were winning 60 games a year. Like the Raptors, when they drafted him, were in the Eastern Conference Finals and were the number one seed in the East. So there just wasn't as much opportunity for him until they traded that for Kawhi.
But that's what's so weird. But you could make the same argument for Devin. Obviously, they're not winning 60 games, but just from the position aspect, they have too many guards.
Yeah, and the team that they had when they drafted Devin, because remember when they got Devin, they didn't even know they were going to get DeRozan. So so the team they had when they got Devin Carter looks very different than the team that they currently have as well. Just like if this thing doesn't go great this year, the team by Carter's third year, which is kind of make or break for first round picks because you have to decide to pick up options and things like that. The make or break year, who knows what that roster is going to look like for the Kings.
No clue.
Which goes back to the setting up people in position to succeed. Malik kind of said the same thing when we talked to him at Media Days. Like, he was playing 4 different roles last year, and that's too much for anyone to deal with. Devin's been through 4 different versions of this team before he even recovered his shoulder.
Yeah. 916 says, how can we objectively judge Devin when he got drafted to a dysfunctional organization with no track record of developing young talent? Fox doesn't count because he was an elite prospect to begin with. It wouldn't shock me if Devin developed into a solid player on another team. So I agree with some of what you're saying, 916, but we're just not going to – we can't just not count De'Aaron Fox. As much as you might not want to. Even guys get drafted high all the time and they don't work out. So you got to give some credit to the Kings. I think the Keegan Murrays of the world, those are the interesting pieces because this is a huge year for Keegan, and you could question how a guy like Keegan has developed on this team versus how he would have developed on another team. But De'Aaron Fox, he played on this team. We're not going to not – he didn't have any NBA experience. We're not going to not count De'Aaron just because you can count De'Aaron and it still ain't much, 916. Don't worry.
Also, there's still examples of developing guys of Devin Carter's ilk. The one I think of is Bogdanovich, right? They brought him in as a rookie, and he's still 10 years in the league. I know he's out for the year now, but 10 years later, he's still a productive NBA player. Like, there's still examples you could point to even in the second tier of guys.
Yeah, so I think that Devin Carter to me is kind of turning into a bit of an underdog story, and I personally love an underdog story. And I do think that there's some untapped potential. I don't know what it is, man, and maybe it's the second kid and my old age, but seeing Nick Clifford, at least in that first kind of clip, higher in the rotation. Number one, it just says, hey, them's the breaks, and this is the biz, and we get all that. But it just is the human part of it for me is Devin Carter getting drafted to a team, injuries, something he can't control, that manager getting canned, right? That coach getting canned, and he's just kind of here floating, fighting for his life. And luckily he's got his pops who's kind of been through similar things. But I do think that I'm rooting for him. I'm huge on Nick Clifford, and I'm huge on Maxime Reynaud. But I am rooting for Devin, hoping that he can find a way and prove himself a little bit at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, the playing time thing will sort itself out, right? If Devin comes in and he's better than Neek, then Devin will play. It's not like they're like so committed to Neek Clifford has to play kind of situation.
Yeah, and you just got to look. He went to Providence. It's not like he went to this huge school, so that means that just tells you right there that he's had to grind a little bit to show who he is, and to get drafted in the first round out of Providence says a lot about him as well. And yeah, I think the ceiling is a good conversation. He's just got to get put in a specific situation, because that's the whole thing, right? With the Trey Lance comparison, I think Trey Lance has a high ceiling. I mean, I guess athletically he has a high ceiling, and he's tried to figure out some things, and I don't know if Trey will ever be a starter in the league, but that's why he got drafted where he got drafted. I think Devin obviously showed more than Trey Lance, but it is similar to where these guys just need reps, and it's going to be hard to come across them. I will say I would be much more confident that Devin Carter works out than Trey Lance. Shout out Trey area, though. When we return, more praise for Dennis Schroeder. This time it's Keegan Murray discussing how Dennis will make his life easier, not just offensively, but defensively as well. I'm telling you, are we talking about the same guy, this Dennis Schroeder? Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Fidium Fiber.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It is Monday. Stepping outside, you'll probably need the jacket. Nice cool beginning to the morning, but as we head through the afternoon, with a light north breeze, temperature is a bit warmer. Highs to peak in the lower to mid 80s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
It's about time they
fix that pothole.
Invented better windshield wipers.
Made an internet that just works. Fidium Fiber Internet, starting at only $30 a month. It feels like Fidium. Offer available to residential customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See Fidium.com for details.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-292-0975. 800-292-0975. Again, that's 800-292-0975.
Footballs are flying. The days are getting shorter. Fall is officially here. Will your heater be able to get you through the winter? The heater at Whiteywood shut down last winter, so who did we call? Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. We wanted somebody we could trust to do the job right and deliver great value, and Lee's came through. Check them out at leesair.com. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating has built a reputation as the leading HVAC company in Sacramento. We've got a new HVAC system that works great, saves us money month to month. Find out how they can help you at leesair.com. License number 635355.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbfstockton.com. That's mbfstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
30 minutes. Look, if you want to be safe, just because if you're on the Sacktown Sports app, shout out to you. If you want to be safe, because this is, again, probably the best giveaway. No disrespect to all the comedians and other giveaways that we've done. This is the juiciest giveaway we've had in all the years that I've been here. Okay, not only are you getting lower level seats to the Sacramento Kings versus the Thunder November 7th. Imagine this, the guy or gal that you've been trying to woo, you ran into them on a dating app and you really want it to work out and you're trying to impress them. And you win this, you get a pair of lower level seats, and then you can pretend like you just cashed out. Because that's what I would do. Let me tell you right now. If I won this and I was trying to woo someone, I'm not telling them I won any of this bleep. I'm telling them, no, I bought this. I'm balling like this. Okay? And it'll be our little secret here at the station, thanks to our friends at Kimpton Sawyer, obviously the Kings, as well as Revival, downtown Sacramento's social hotspot. Sacktown Sports is giving you a chance to win a pair of lower-level seats to the Sacramento Kings versus OKC on November 7th, a one-night stay at the Kimpton Sawyer, and that's where the players stay, by the way. And $200 gift card to Revival, downtown Sacramento's social hotspot. Enjoy elevated vibes, stylish crowd, and the perfect view of the beam after the Kings win and beat the defending champions. You're going to text at 12 o'clock, 916-339-1140. That's at 12 o'clock. We will have a secret code for you that I will reveal at that time. And I'm telling you, man, that you do that. I know, because my buddies, they tell me that there's basically priority lists on these dating apps, right? You're talking to someone, but they're talking to 3 other people. You're talking to 3 other people. You will shoot right up their list if you win this thing. So that's coming up in 30 minutes.
You might get to bump elbows with Chet Holmgren.
That's right.
After the Thunder lose.
Get some oxtail with Chet Holmgren after and some yams.
We should. It's not guaranteed.
Cornbread, green.
You might run into them. Okay.
We did. There is a non-zero chance you will get to eat oxtails with Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, you get to the lower level seats. Anything can happen, man. Anything can happen.
I don't know how lower level they are, but they have like kind of the club or the restaurant underneath there. I don't know if you get access to that, but that is usually a perk of being in the lower level.
916-339-1140. Whether you have it or not, it's going to be an outstanding time as we get to more praise from Keegan Murray about one Dennis Schroeder. Keegan was asked about Dennis Schroeder, and I found what he had to say offensively was not as surprising as the stuff he had to say about Dennis defensively. I'm telling y'all, this is – all right, I'm going to say a joke here, and I really hope I don't get in trouble. And the only reason I'm saying it is because I do think it's not apples to apples. But and I'm not comparing Dennis Schroeder to this, but the way they are talking about Dennis Schroeder compared to how Kings fans was texting us about Dennis Schroeder, and Kyle, I don't know how old you were when this movie came out, it's kind of reminding me of Shallow Hal a little bit. It's kind of reminding me of Shallow Hal. So
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my goodness. Is Christopher Lott still in there? So long story short, Shallow Hal with Jack Black. Basically, Jack Black is extremely shallow, okay? And he's extremely shallow, and he doesn't want to be as shallow anymore. So he gets somebody to put a spell on him, right? And when he sees people for their inside, not their outside. So he's having so much more fun dating, and Gwyneth Paltrow ends up being the love interest. He has all this fun dating.
Wow, what a crazy cast list.
Yes, he has all this fun dating, right? And he's thinking he's dating all these women that he finds very attractive on the outside, and his buddies are very confused because this isn't normally how he goes. Long story short, he finds out that he's dating people because of this spell that's been put over him because of the inside, not just the outside. And the only reason I bring that up is because of how people were talking about Dennis Schroeder when we were looking for a point guard versus how the King, and I would just say in general, right? Dennis Schroeder scratching the top 30 point guard list versus how the Kings are talking about him. It's like it's a completely different player. And I know he just won the Eurobasket MVP, but it feels like he's a completely different player. So this is what Keegan Murray had to say. I think with Dennis, obviously it helps. I won't guard as many point guards as I did. Obviously, they'll be versatile in where I guard. Obviously, the best player on the court, but Dennis is able to do that too. So it'll be interesting to see once we get into the season. He goes on to say, obviously with Dennis, it helps me a lot in the starting unit to pick up front court, disrupt the ball handling, and things like that. We've seen improvement. At this point, it's just going out against someone else and going out against the opponent, not obviously making that happen in game. So you can't really just do that in practice and not do it in game. Dennis Schroeder guarding the best player on the other team.
We can look it up again, but didn't he only have like 2 seasons where he was a plus defender?
I'm telling you, man, I don't know. And I wasn't, look, we said Chris Watkins was on this show, and he said, look, a lot of people have negative feelings about Dennis Schroeder. You wanted a sexier name, whatever it is, but Dennis Schroeder is a baller. And I do think that Dennis Schroeder would make this team better. But the way they're talking about him, I am just I'm so excited to watch just to see it all unfold. Because and we've seen some of the clips, but just to see how it all unfolds, because the games haven't even started yet. It's not as if he came in. This is how they look at Dennis Schroeder. And I'm wondering, is this a Kings thing? Is this an NBA thing? And just how the NBA views certain players versus how the NBA world views certain players. That's what I'm kind of interested in getting to once the season starts.
I guess that's why I'm kind of like, not tempering expectations, but I'm kind of looking at it like, if Dennis Schroeder is out here guarding point guards well, like if he's guarding James Harden's and Jalen Brunson's well, that would kind of be like a bonus, I guess, in a way. But
obviously it's not ideal, but Keegan is just saying that he can.
Yeah, it's like a bonus if you get that. But what you're going to get from Dennis Schroeder is quality three-point shooting, playmaking ability, and 14 points per game and 5 assists, right? And if you get that, that is a solid point guard, better than what Malik Monk was doing last year at the point guard position.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of look at it that way, that like anything above that, if he has any 25-point games this year, or he's blocking James Harden's shot at the end of a game, if he does any of that, I'll kind of look at it as like a bonus. But what you should expect reasonably going in is like 14 points a game, 5 assists. He's playing 30 minutes, and he's playing halfway decent defense and facilitating.
Yeah, and maybe that's how bad it was on the team last season, that feels like a lot, right? That feels like a godsend based on what the Kings had to deal with last season, essentially not having a point guard. So even though it might not seem, again, I always like to talk about grades. If you have struggled, like myself, if you have struggled with Algebra 2 and you keep getting D's and D's and D's, even though you're working, right? You got a tutor, you're trying to figure this thing out, it's just not clicking. You have your final and you get a B- on the final, you're going to be juiced. You're going to be really, really excited and really happy that you were able to pull that out. Even though a B- is not an A or a B+ or anything like that, you're excited because of where you were at. If the Kings and their point guard play was a D, even if Dennis Schroeder is a B- as a point guard, they're still excited because, again, it was a D last season.
Yeah, and I don't want to shortchange what Dennis Schroeder brings, but it's just a low ceiling type of acquisition. Not because Dennis isn't an excellent player. We saw what he did in the Eurobasket, but like, there's only but so much opportunity when you're the point guard of a Sacramento Kings team that has Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah. The text line, the 530 is asking, did Keegan really say obviously that many times? He did. And honestly, I skipped over one or two of them.
I wish I'd had more time. I could have probably found the audio of it.
He did. And I skipped over some of them, 530. So, yeah, and we're having some fun with the Shallow Hal references, and Kyle never even heard of that movie, which is incredible, and I just got another gray hair because
it's
of that.
It's got the guy from Friends in it?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Because of that conversation. But it is fascinating to hear them talk about Dennis Schroeder, just because so many people and when we've had writers on, they've said we don't mind the Kings getting Dennis Schroeder, but it's not moving. It hasn't moved anyone. The Kings getting Dennis Schroeder did not move anyone. Obviously, they labeled it breaking news, but it wasn't at the top of anyone's ticker or anything like that. So the way they're talking about it, I think, has been really eye-opening. Honestly, maybe the best thing is comparing it to the D as far as the point guard play after they traded De'Aaron Fox. Maybe the biggest takeaway isn't that they're overselling Dennis Schroeder. It's that they're actually just illustrating how bad things were last season. So any type of point guard play for somebody that is above average like Dennis Schroeder feels like you got prime CP3.
Maybe, although I just think people are really trying to sell us on Dennis Schroeder and what he's going to bring to this team.
These are players, though. If it was Scott Perry, right, or B.J. Armstrong, that'd be one thing. Or even Doug Christie. These are the players don't care. They're speaking. They have no reason to pull a narrative. They're just talking.
Yeah, and maybe that's something to hang on to as a positive note for Dennis Schroeder. I guess I'm just trying to say I'm lowering my expectation and getting anything greater as like a bonus instead of like we're expecting he's going to be this two-way star.
I just keep reading these quotes.
I know, it's weird.
All these quotes just keep coming out. Brendan Nunes joins us to close out the 11 o'clock hour, and then he is headed on over to Kings practice. We will talk to Brendan about how things have been going with training camp. Should I be worried about how much they're practicing? And what are his thoughts? Has he seen Dennis? Has anyone seen Dennis Schroeder balling out the way it sounds like he's been balling out? Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays hit different when you earn them. We've got you covered with outdoor power equipment from Cobalt and everything you need to weatherproof your deck with Trex decking. Plus, with lawn care from Scott's and, of course, Pit Boss grills and accessories, you can get a home field advantage all season long. So get to Lowe's, get it done, and earn your Sunday. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
The Sacktown Sports 49ers Report is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville, located beside the Vacaville outlets. The 49ers win an absolute thriller in overtime over LA, 26-23, to improve the 4-1. San Francisco getting a critical stop on 4th and 1 at the end of the game with LA driving inside the red zone. Mac Jones is now 3-0 as the 49ers starting quarterback. The Niners are back in action in Tampa Bay. Catch the game Sunday beginning at 9 o'clock right here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Football season is here at Kia of Vacaville. You can score big in a new 2025 Kia Niro LX with up to 53 MPG combined at Kia of Vacaville. Perfect for road trips, tailgates, and cruising to Levi Stadium in style and comfort. But don't wait. Inventory is limited at Kia of Vacaville, and these deals won't last long. Visit KiaVacaville.com or stop by right next to the Vacaville outlets for friendly service, easy shopping, and unbeatable value. All in one stop. Kia of Vacaville, where the adventure begins.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
A Men's Health moment with Revive Men's Health.
Low testosterone can impact your energy, muscle tone, focus, and mood. A free testosterone check and personalized treatment plan from Revive Men's Health can help you feel like yourself again.
Learn more at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Joined by the one, the only, Brendan Nunez, and we are 15 minutes away. Brendan, listen to this giveaway, okay?
Okay.
And I know, you're a good-looking dude. You know what I mean?
Appreciate you.
I don't know if I can say that from HR, but
Where is this going?
You're a good-looking dude.
Yeah, where is this
I'm
going?
just saying, I don't.
Am I part of the giveaway?
I don't know. Well, hey, I don't always know, what's going on in your personal or romantic life. But I'm just saying, regardless of whether you are with someone or not, let me just lay this out for you, okay? You get to take them to the OKC game November 7th.
Brendan does?
Okay. You get to take then.
Okay.
You get $200 to Revival, downtown Sacramento's social hotspot. And Brendan Nunez, the night ends at Kimpton Sawyer.
Wow.
Or maybe
they got a whole package deal.
Or maybe a dozen. I'm just saying. I'm just 15 minutes away from that, Brendan. Wouldn't you be trying to get on the phone immediately? To
Absolutely. You got a whole package deal. Your night's all set up,
Well, it's not on the phone. It's text.
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Either way.
Text it in. You got to get on your phone. This is what I have a problem with these Gen Z. It's like, we don't have time for this. All right, well,
Brendan Nunez is not included in the package.
No, he's not.
No.
But there's a possibility he'll be in the arena. So
I will definitely be in the arena.
Yeah, he will probably be in the arena. So 916-339-1140. That's coming up in 15 minutes. We have that secret keyword for you if you want to impress someone or just have some fun. That's all I'm going to say on that.
And the Kings will definitely win that game.
And the Kings will definitely play.
Oh, you can get to see a beam?
Yeah.
We were saying that they're staying at the hotel the Thunder will be at, so maybe you'll run into Jalen Williams or other Jalen Williams.
Yeah. Hey, I'm the King. Hey, you're not going to mess this up for me. You're not. I told her there was going to be a beam, so there better be a beam.
Worst case, you get to see the MVP.
Right.
The good news, last year they lost by 28 points per game against the Thunder, so it can't be worse than that.
No, see, that's not what we're doing. We are being
They have
positive.
a point guard now.
Yeah, that is Senor Segue as we get into some of these questions that I have for you, Brendan, before you head on over to practice. Senor Segue strikes again. You said you were listening to the last segment on your way over. You've been in the building. You've seen some of the ends of practices. You've seen some of the scrimmages. What is this Dennis Schroeder thing? I mean, they're talking about this guy like prime CP3, and this is no disrespect to Dennis Schroeder, and I made the joke about the movie Shallow Hal. Kyle had never even heard about the movie before.
I don't know what you're talking about either.
Oh, my goodness.
That movie came out in 2001. I was 2 months old when this movie came out.
Oh, my goodness. Not you too.
Also, it has a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes.
They don't understand the early 2000s.
Have you seen Cooper Flagg opening the Topps cards from the year he was born? He didn't know who Hito Turkoglu was or Big Z. And
ridiculous. All right. With that being said,
this movie also seems terrible.
Dennis Schroeder, all right, the way they're talking about him very glowingly, and it's one thing for the front office to do that.
Yeah.
We get that. You gave him 3 years, right? 2 years guaranteed. You gave him 3 years. You gave him that money. You had to move Jonas Valanciunas in order to do it. Obviously, they're going to say this stuff. But from the player perspective, where do you think this stuff is coming from? Is it just things were so bad last season without a point guard that any point guard, no disrespect to Dennis Schroeder, but just any good, solid point guard play seems as if you do have prime CP3.
I think there is somewhat of that, right? And I've teetered on both sides of this, where it does at times feel like they're talking about a multi-time All-Star like this is a franchise point guard, and he might only be here 2 years. You know, we'll see how this all plays out. But this is a guy that's never been an All-Star, never made an All-NBA team. It doesn't mean he's not a good player, but he started half the games in his career up to this point, roughly 50%. Like, that's the caliber of player we're dealing with. And to your point, they did not have that point guard last year, specifically the second half of last year. It's always funny to say, like, they didn't have a point guard last year. I'm like, you kind of had a franchise point guard at the beginning of the year.
Yes, not any, second half. Or
fully whatever. Under Doug Christie didn't really happen, right? Only a little bit of overlap there with De'Aaron still sticking around. And so I think more than anything, it's that their big thing this year is creating an identity, right? And I think that Dennis plays perfectly into that. And that's where all this hype, I feel like, is really coming from. That the picking up 94 feet, like Dennis very much plays into that, right? You need a little bit of a dog on this team. I think the Kings have been looking for that for a while, and it's not going to cut it, to be honest, when it's Jay Crowder or Tristan Thompson who aren't really playing that many minutes. Like, Dennis is going to be starting out there 30-plus minutes a night and setting the tone, being the dog that he is in that way. So I think that the main thing is that he is just facilitating everything out there, right? Malik Monk talked about the difference between playing the point and the shooting guard, that, hey, you got to play point guard your whole life to be good at it, is Malik's perspective. Well, Dennis has done that. And Dennis is more than willing to play second fiddle to some of these other guys. He's going to come down the floor and be like, hey, I know DeMar hasn't touched it in 3 possessions. I'm going to make sure to go on that side of the floor this time. So I do think all that stuff helps. And hearing it from the star players, it's probably – I could see it being more enjoyable potentially to play with a Dennis Schroeder than a De'Aaron Fox. If you're Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, like, hey, I want my touches, you know? And it's not a selfish thing, but that's how these guys function and are most optimized. So I do think that I definitely have had the thought of, wow, we're talking about this guy like he's an all-star. Yeah. But I do see the value in how he is supposed to help with what their main goal this year is setting that identity, right? And wins and losses, whatever that may mean, is its own conversation. And I know that should be the crux of all this, but really they're like, hey, identity, 1A, 1B, like that is the focus this year. And they feel like Dennis plays right into that.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point just as far as the style of point guard as well, because the DeMar DeRozan thing, and a lot of fans have gotten on DeMar DeRozan as far as all the shots and the usage, but Dennis can control that a little bit, right? Look, if he's going, he's going, but DeMar bringing up the ball half the time, right? Or somebody like a Keon Ellis or whoever who just wants the ball out of their hands in a way and just get it to DeMar because that's the safest thing to do. I'm not trying to really facilitate and run this offense. That's the part of it that can help the balance of the offense as well. Earlier in the show, we were talking about Drew Eubanks and how Drew Eubanks said toughest training camp they've had so far. I'm an anxious person in general. Ja Morant twists his ankle. I understand this is their job, but do you think they have a balance right now as far as how hard they're working? I mean, they were doing two-a-days. Preseason games are starting this week for the Kings. So do you think they went hard? Was that just to throw them in the pool last week and things will kind of chill out, or is this something, because remember, Mike Brown, they were practicing too much. So I'm just trying to figure out where this thing is going to start and end.
Yeah, and for what it's worth with the Mike Brown practice too much thing, that almost felt like just something else that was thrown on top of all the other things with people not being happy about everything.
Like
how
you're
the
breaking
Mike
up with
De'Aaron
someone
thing.
and
like, by the way, I also don't like the way you make the bed.
Yeah, you leave the toilet. You leave the toilet seat
right.
up.
It felt more like that, right? Like these guys are fine with that. I know like DeMar specifically got that placed on him. DeMar is going to practice if he's out there. He has no problem doing that, right? And I think it just goes back to Doug saying we want to be the best conditioned team in the league. So that means that we're going to run our butts off at practice, and we're going to have a lot of these headed up into training camp. So there's no injuries that have taken place unless we find out something today, but everything that we've heard so far has all been good from that end, which is obviously a big plus for them. And no, I don't think anybody's complaining. I think Drew said it he meant that that's a good thing, you know, that they do feel well prepared. And for what it's worth, you go back and look at some of Drew's history. It's not like he was on the greatest teams, to be honest, at the beginning of all these training camps specifically. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing, and I think it's just very much them trying to cater to, hey, we think we need to play fast, on both ends of the floor, and we need to pick up 94 feet. So conditioning being far and away the most important thing for this team, the way you do that is let's just get some reps in and get our butts up and down that floor.
One more for you, Brendan. I know we're going to be talking a ton throughout the season, and we're still getting it started. I'm really excited for the first preseason
Me
game.
too.
But Devin Carter, in the beginning of this hour, I said, you know what is crazy to say out loud? That Devin Carter probably has the highest ceiling out of all the bench guards, right? I think he has a higher ceiling than Keon just based on athleticism. And you saw that jump shot. That's not the jump shot he had at Summer League. So I think he's either in the process or said, all right, I need to change this thing. I don't know how it's going to translate. It's easy to do in practice. I don't know what it's going to look like in the game. But have you seen anything from – because I'm seeing these clips where he hit the game winner, things like that, and then you look up that he really hasn't been playing that many minutes. Have you seen anything from Devin Carter, any way that this guy powers through? We looked up Pascal Siakam, who did play 2 years in the G League. I don't think it's completely cooked if he does go back to the G League. What do you see happening for Devin Carter now that Nick Clifford has kind of leapfrogged him a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this almost feels like Devin's rookie season, right? Last year, there were so many injuries he dealt with. He dealt with injuries at Summer League. Like, we were sitting right there, and you could tell that he was in pain, to be honest. And he was very blunt at Media Day, talking about how, yeah, that was a little bit of a, I'm paraphrasing here, but like flare-up that sort of happened at that point. But he had a healthy offseason. Yeah. And Doug was asked the other day what guys have stood out in camp, and Devin was one of the guys that he mentioned. So I think I'm very curious to see how that plays out. If you want to read into lineups that we've seen at practice and you know, do that with a grain of salt.
Of course I do.
Devin's kind of fluctuated between that second and third unit, so I'm curious to see what that's going to look like. But Doug wants to run 10 guys, and I don't know if you've done the exercise, but you go down the list, and like after 8, I'm like, I don't really know where we're going here. I guess Drew Eubanks, I guess like Devin Carter is probably right around that 9th or 10th guy on this team. So I think he's definitely going to get some opportunity, but the biggest thing is what you mentioned, that shot, right? He doesn't lack confidence. I don't really care that it's coming off from like in front of his face or even more of his chest, to be honest. As long as it goes in, and specifically on those catch and shoots, right? The off the dribble stuff is all great. He's got the athleticism. He's got the twitch. He's got the same vertical as Malik Monk. Like I think people forget how bouncy this guy really is. There's for sure a lot of potential there, but he's not really a point guard either, and he's more of a point guard size, obviously, so has that handle developed a little bit more in that aspect. But to me, the big X factor is that jump shot, because I think last year there wasn't very much confidence in it from other people, maybe not necessarily himself, because again, I think Devin has all the confidence in the world, but if that is going down more consistently, I think the Kings do have a good player here, because defensively, maybe not on par with Keon, but I don't really think he's that far. Like, he is an absolute dog defensively that's going to muck up the game, and I think plays exactly into the style of basketball that they want. So, again, I think as long as that three-point shot is looking smooth, that there's something there. It's going to mean a lot of small ball, but I think this team has to do that no matter.
Brandon Nunes, thank you so much for joining us. Get on over there. I know you are running to practice, one of our top editors here at the station. Be sure to follow him on social media and also check out all of his good work on sacktownsports.com. Brendan, thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate you. Practice over here at 12:30.
There you go. On the other side, it's time for the big Kimpton Sawyer giveaway, as well as $200 to Revival. Oh, by the way, lower level seats to OKC Sacramento. You don't want to miss that. Don't move. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most.
Visit
callamaverick.com.
Just announced, Stockton Honda has been named #1 of California's best car dealers in 2025 by USA Today and Statista. This prestigious award is based on thousands of customer reviews and recommendations, ranking dealerships for service, value, and satisfaction. Out of hundreds evaluated, Stockton Honda is proud to be #1, recognized for all-around excellence and commitment to our customers. Visit Stockton Honda, where reputation meets the road.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details. KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
To home for Kings talk and so much more. Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Brandon Nunez, ladies and gentlemen. And we will be talking to Brandon a lot throughout the season. He's going to head on over. Hopefully he doesn't get lost because he's always driving around in the wrong direction. And hopefully you are headed in the right direction, which is towards the Kimpton Sawyer, because the giveaway is right now. Okay? Go ahead. Go ahead, Kyle. You're going to play it. Senor. Senor segue strikes again.
I mean, now you're like farming for it. I mean, come on.
I saw you reach over and I thought you were going to hit it.
I mean, you're just kind of farming for these things now, huh?
Yeah, so maybe a little bit.
Maybe we have to have standards for our Senor segues.
Sacktown Sports is giving you a chance to win a pair of lower level seats to the Sacramento Kings versus Oklahoma City Thunder on November 7th. A one-night extravaganza stay at the Kimpton Sawyer and $200 gift card to Revival, downtown Sacramento's social hotspot. Enjoy elevated vibes, the stylish crowd, and the perfect view of the beam after a Kings win over the defending NBA champion. Text in today's keyword to 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. Now for your chance to win. That's Kings. K-I-N-G-S. Kings is the secret word for today.
Malik's in Arabic.
K-I-N-G-S. Kings. That is the secret keyword for today.
I see people on the phone line. Stop calling in. You got to text.
Text on in there. Okay? You will have an opportunity. We're doing it throughout the week. You know how this works. The more you text every single day, number one, the more you listen, the more you watch, the better chance you have to find and get the secret code that you throw in. That's more bites at the apple for your chance to stay at the Kimpton Sawyer November 7th, Kings versus OKC, and $200 to Revival. A shout out to all of our partners, of course, Kimpton Sawyer and Revival holding it down for us, and of course the Kings taking on OKC. Lower level people. So you be sure to continue to text on in throughout the week. So it is Kings, K-I-N-G-S. let's get to Keon Ellis and who he could be.
I really just be chilling for real.
For this Kings team, which is what you need to text in for the Kimpton Sawyer. The top 5 guards from our friends at B-Ball Index. By the way, Kyle, I'm still having this conversation. I got the email back today from our guy, Tim Schmitz.
Oh,
he's working on the new offensive scheme, what it was last season, and what it could be for the Kings this season. So he is working on that, right? I got the email on Sunday. So if you were listening throughout the summer, Tim Schmitz, he created basically descriptions of the 7 different types of offenses in 2022, 2023, or it might have been 2023, 2024. He's making a new one, and we can't wait to see where the Kings land and what they could be in 2025. So we'll have that for him. I'm going back and forth with Tim, and really excited that we've made that connection. But as far as Keon Ellis is concerned and his specific ceiling, B-Ball Index says the top 5 guards in defensive playmaking. Dyson Daniels at number 1, Alex Caruso at number 2, Keon Ellis at number 3, Chris Dunn at number 4, and Scottie Pippen Jr. at number 5. So that is somewhere that you love to see somebody like Keon Ellis and his ability to create havoc, create plays, create offense through defense. Kyle, are you surprised that Keon's on this list?
Not surprised that he's on this list. Very interested to see how the role is going to kind of piece together, right? Because think about the other guys on this group. It's Chris Dunn, who they were really smart about alternating him with Norman Powell a lot last year. And this year they're going to have Bradley Beal and him kind of alternate minutes, kind of a situation like that. Caruso, we obviously know he's alternating with Jalen Williams. And then when the playoffs roll around, they put him at center, guarding Jokic at times, you know. But during the regular season, it'd be like he's alternating minutes with Jalen Williams. Do the Kings alternate him with their offensive first wing of Zach LaVine? And is that the best role for Keon Ellis? I think of Dyson Daniels a little bit too, only because they've just added Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but that's not following the same formula. It's kind of like Nickeil Alexander-Walker is like doing the Dyson Daniels things, but not as good.
Yeah.
So
Dyson Daniels also 6'7".
Yeah, and also I just don't think Nickeil Alexander-Walker was a great addition for the Hawks. I don't think that one's going to work out the way they think it's going to. But I will say with Keon Ellis, it seems like the model there for those defense-first type wings, because all of them come off the bench outside of Dyson Daniels, is to alternate them with a ball, a scoring ball in their hands type of wing. And Malik Monk kind of complicates that formula a bit. So maybe Keon's minutes are in alternation with what Zach LaVine does, and that's the best way for the Kings to succeed.
Yeah, it's really good to see Keon on a list like this, and we know how good he is. You know what's funny, though? When you look at some of these other players and the ilk that they are in, and some of it's based on age, but going back to the conversation of moving off of Keon Ellis, whether you would or wouldn't, you read this list, and there's really only 2 guys that you would kind of put in the same category that people, or I guess Kings fans, try to put Keon in, and obviously the same as in at the very least, right? They obviously better than Keon, but at the very least as good as Keon or viewed the same way. Again, based on age, right? So you have Dyson Daniels, who obviously is got a high. Everybody loves Dyson Daniels right now. He's first team, second team, all NBA, and he's still a young gun. Or all defense. Then you have Alex Caruso, who we know that's his calling card. Besides that, and again, just going back to what Keon's ceiling is, besides that, you have guys that I think everyone would like on a team. You got a 6'1" Scottie Pippen Jr., who is 24 years old. And I think he's shown his value on the Grizzlies, but I don't think he would be he's not talked about the same way Kings fans talk about Keon Ellis, right? Hey, he's the untouchable stuff, or don't move him for a Jonathan Kuminga. I just, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so.
It's back and forth, right? Because they're kind of the found money
That's
guys
what I'm
in
saying.
the league.
Yeah. Different versions of found money. Scottie Pippen kind of bounced around, and you have Keon, who came up through the kind of G League two-way deal.
And both have very cheap contracts that help teams that have other expensive stars. In the Grizzlies' case, expensive stars that aren't going to play to start the season. But hey, this is why you have Scottie Pippen Jr. is to replace Ja Morant.
And it's probably the best comparison because nobody's ever going to look at a 31-year-old Chris Dunn the same way you're looking at these guys. So when it comes to Keon's ceiling and how people view Keon, all these guys are kind of in different phases besides Scottie Pippen Jr. And even because Dyson Daniels, I think, is above, way above. And Scottie Pippen Jr., I don't think he's below. I think he's right there. But how Grizzlies fans probably view Scottie Pippen Jr. and how Kings fans view Keon Ellis, probably not exactly the same, even though, to be fair, that's because the Grizzlies, they've had playoff success. They got Ja Morant. They got Jaren, an actual defensive player of the year. So they get viewed a little bit differently, as this kind of turns into a question of what Keon Ellis' ceiling is and how far away he is from his ceiling. So we're going to start with Keon, and we really want to discuss the rest of the team as well. So if you were to ask me, again, it's not the same as who has the highest ceiling, right? We have that conversation all the time. And I was talking about how Devin Carter has a really high ceiling. Doesn't mean that he will get to that ceiling or get close to it, but I think Devin Carter has a higher ceiling than some of the guys that are ahead of him in the rotation. This is bringing up how high the ceiling is, but also how far away these Kings players are from their ceiling. So to me, Keon Ellis, and the reason I have had the conversation of moving off of him, not that I want to, but I don't think it's something that you just absolutely shouldn't bring up at all, is because I do think that Keon Ellis is at 25 years old, at 6'3", 6'4", even though Kyle found him at 6'6" somewhere, I think Keon Ellis is pretty close to his ceiling. I think Keon Ellis is pretty darn close to his ceiling. That's not a bad thing because I think Keon is a really solid player. But again, you look at the Scottie Pippen Juniors and guys like that, and I would say the same thing about Scottie Pippen Jr. They're both, Scottie Pippen's 24 years old. Keon's a little bit bigger than him. I think Scottie is better with the basketball as far as creating, so I think they're really good comps. But I think that Keon is pretty close to his ceiling compared to some of the other players on this team, especially looking at his age, being 25 years old.
Well, and he said it himself when he talked to us at Media Day. He's never going to be in a position where he's a top 3 scorer.
Exactly.
Even though he believes he could do that, I just don't think he's ever going to be given that opportunity at this point in the league, which, fair or unfair, I mean, he's an excellent, streaky at times, excellent shooter. And that will always have use, even if he's not a go-to option. He could start on teams. He's started on the Kings before. It's not to say he's ever going to be a higher than a number 4 option scoring-wise, unless the team is like tanking or Mavericks level of injury last year where Olivier Maxence Prosper was like their 3rd option. But on a team that is trying to compete, he's always going to be one of those role guys, which is not a slight to him. It's still, he could have a 15-year career doing that.
Yeah, he can get paid. He can get paid handsomely, too. So I think Keon is pretty close to his ceiling. We spent some time on Devin Carter earlier today, and you can go check that out. It's on the YouTube right now and also on the Sacktown Sports app. And somebody asked me, by the way, just getting back to the giveaway quickly, this is text, right? You're not calling in. So somebody said, if I'm listening on the TuneIn app, it's about 3 minutes behind. Do I have the same chance? Yes, because you are texting in. You are not calling in. So once you text in, you're good.
Am I crazy? Why are people texting in sack?
I don't know.
Like I get people do the joke of like every time we do one of these text giveaways, people will jokingly do a different one.
Well, that was the secret code at 8 a.m. So you need to text in the correct code is what you need to do.
So it's a
Zach
new
was
one.
in the morning. Kings
Okay.
is now. So I don't know if they're just trying to cover their you-know-what, but it's Kings right now, not Sac.
Okay, that's why I was confused.
That's right. All
so
right,
it's a different code word than the morning show. I guess we should
Yes,
clarify that.
That's right. That's right.
Our code word will be different than the morning show.
Every single day. Every single day.
I got so confused. Like, are people trolling us? What's happening here?
That's from the morning show. So just wanted to clear that up for people. But getting back into where the ceilings lie, I think Devin Carter is. I think right now, Kyle, and we can do this like King of the Hill. I think Devin Carter right now, like I said, we're just doing it like King of the Hill, so he can be bumped down. But I would have Devin Carter at number 1 right now for farthest from his ceiling.
Farthest?
Right now, farthest from his ceiling.
Okay.
So we're going to try to bump Devin Carter off. That's how, it goes with King of the Hill. Malik Monk.
Yeah, probably not.
No. He is kind of who he is at this point, 27.
Yeah, starting
old.
caliber guard in the league. At his best was a third scoring option.
We'll get to the rookies because that's kind of unfair, right? And I know it's Devin Carter being just a second year that makes a lot of sense too. But I do think there'll be some surprises as well. So that was Malik Monk. Next on the list, this is where it will get a bit fun. Next on the list will be Keegan Murray. Who is further away from their ceiling? Keegan Murray or Devin Carter? My initial thought is that you need to bump down Devin Carter. I think that right now, Keegan Murray is the furthest away from his ceiling, which means two things. Which means we would like to see a leap, which also means that I do still believe that Keegan has a lot more to give. So I think Keegan is number 1 on this list.
Yes, the ceiling is higher than what probably even Devin Carter's is. No matter how many Kevin O'Connors say he might have been a top 5 prospect in that draft class that we all agree was kind of bad.
So I got Keegan sitting there at number 1, and now you have Devin Carter at number 2. Next on the list, and I think this is where it gets interesting, and we can eliminate some of these, right? DeMar DeRozan isn't going to be on in the top 3 for this. I don't think that Dennis Schroeder is going to be on the top 3.
Let's just say players under 30.
No, because I do think, well, yeah, I guess technically Domantas Sabonis would still count, but I'm going through each one for a reason. So next on the list, I would say, and I think this is where it gets really interesting, I would ask a question about Zach LaVine. I think the initial thought is he's pretty darn close. You basically shoot 50, 40, 90. He's what? Is he another one? He's in his 30s, right?
Yeah, I think he's 31.
So Zach LaVine, I think in theory, everybody thinks is right there. And it's more about, can you continue to play like this, right? Zach LaVine at 30 years old probably isn't going to take a leap. But I do think his version of taking a leap is just, can you play like this? If you could play like this for the rest of your career, or for the rest of, the next 3 years, that's ridiculous, right? That's a different version. Not necessarily being better, but can you be consistent at what you've been doing? So he doesn't count. He's kind of in a weird other section. Next on the list, and this is where I think it gets a bit fun, is one Domantas Sabonis. This is the one to me, at 29 years old, he's going to have a point guard. He's going to have a coach that he sees directly eye to eye with. He's probably not beating out Keegan Murray, right? My question is, does he have is he the second furthest away from his ceiling compared to where his ceiling could be, right? And you're using Devin Carter, who's number 2. Would you put him over Devin Carter?
So this is where it is tricky, right? Because Sabonis was ranked 32nd in the best players in the league list, according to ESPN. Like, if he goes back to where he was prior to last year, which I think the Ringer had him 21st.
Right.
If he just gets from 32nd to 21st, the impact of that on the Kings will be greater than any leap Devin Carter could make right now.
I agree with you. I would say he has to be number 2 because we know, and maybe, it's maybe semantics as far as leap versus playing better, but we know that Domantas Sabonis at his height is a top 25 player, and I don't know that Devin Carter's ceiling is ever going to be a top 25
No,
player.
Devin Carter will probably never be an all-star in this league. I say that now. I would love to be clipped if it's not true. Like on the Devin Carter "nobody believed in me" video that he's going to post when he makes an all-star, I hope that this gets clipped. But most likely, he's probably not going to be an all-star.
916 says, heck no to Sabonis. He's at his ceiling. He's not going to get more athletic or better defense. Give me a break. 530 says, can Domantas Sabonis be a 25 to 30 point scorer in this league? If not, then he's already reached his ceiling. Obviously, the 916 thinks that Domantas Sabonis is who he is. We'll know a lot more, obviously, as this season gets into it. But to what the 530 is saying, we're basically all on the same page there, right? And I saw some clips of Domantas Sabonis. If he's shooting his three, if he's not taking a free throw beyond the three-point line and he's shooting his three like a jump shot and he's adding that, and people are actually afraid of his three-point jump shot and he continues to do what he does on the inside, I think he's close to his ceiling. Sure, he's 29 years old, but I don't know that we don't know. But my point is that means he still has a ceiling left. He's not at his, I don't think he's reached it yet.
Well, he's definitely not at his ceiling right now because literally he's had better seasons than where he was at before. But yeah, I think the 530's point is more apt, right? It's that if you can maintain your averages while increasing your volume, and you're one of those, I know we like to call them the bag work players, but I'm just saying one of those players who is considered a first or second option on your team, your all-stars. If you can increase your ability and production while maintaining the same efficiencies, that's where you see the quote-unquote leap. That's what Karl Anthony Towns did last year when he got to the Knicks.
Right. Nobody is thinking that Domantas Sabonis is waking up before October 22nd and you're going to see him doing 360 windmill dunks. Yeah. A leap doesn't mean growth spurt or like athletic growth spurt.
Or like he's going to get the ball as the point center and do like Kyrie Irving dribble moves.
He's not going to be cooking people. We're not expecting that.
But if he could get a 15-foot shot that goes in the same rate that Jokic hits the 15-foot shots, transforms his game because now you have to step out to respect him. Then he can drive. He's big and beefy, so his best move is the back down, get it to the rim basket. Would change the dynamic of his game if he could get a great, I'm not even saying good, like a great 15-foot jumper. Yeah. But again, that's part of the increasing your output and volume, and a lot of the times he passes out of those situations. So again, the bottom line is correct, yes, that he will be, if he makes that tiny minutia of a leap, it will have such a greater impact than Devin Carter making a giant leap this year.
So we have Keegan number 1, Sabonis number 2, Devin number 3, and I think that's really it as far as the rotation players that weren't here last season. I mean, Isaac Jones, Isaac Jones, Drew Eubanks, guys like that. Now this is where it gets fun. My two guys. Where should Nick Clifford be on this list? Because the easy answer would be, I mean, he's either ahead of Devin, right? And I guess we didn't necessarily slot Keon. So if right now Keegan's number 1, Sabonis is number 2, Devin's number 3, and I would probably just put Keon number 4, would Nick be, and it's hard because obviously they haven't played yet, but would Nick be above Keon or Devin?
I just don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the experiment was good, saying players we've already seen, right? Because
this, when it's talking about Maxime and Nick, it's not how far are they away from their ceiling. It's just simply how high do you think their ceiling is?
Jump how high. We don't know yet, right? Because like with Keon, I can say probably the best case scenario for his career is like an Alex Caruso. If we're talking about, who are we just talking about a second ago? Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray's best case scenario in my mind, I'd say, is like an OG Anunoby. You can see the vision, you can see the comp. Sabonis, obviously, it's Jokic. We've seen Jokic play this style and look as good as he has. With Clifford, I just don't have a comp yet because I haven't watched enough of his game to know what it is or seen what he's going to look like.
No, we got to see what he looks like in the NBA.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to play the Jake LaRavia role this year, but I wouldn't say Jake LaRavia is the ceiling for him.
No, well, no disrespect to Jake, but Jake is 20. Jake is not even at his ceiling yet.
Jake's not. Jake, they're the same age.
Yeah. And for Maxime Reynaud, I mean, I think he has a very, very high ceiling. But again, we have to see it. So great stuff. We have that list, and we will keep an eye on that list as it moves forward. Bleacher Report offers a and when I say very interesting trade, this is something that is probably going to make people happy and probably annoy others. That is coming up on the other side. Look, we're not beating around the bush with this trade. This is a big one. This is one of the names, one of the untouchables. You're not going to want to miss this on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. The rush of pure exhilaration.
Thunder.
The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder. Feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
The excitement of the game is here, and so are the model year-end savings at Stockton Honda, the best Honda dealer in Northern California. Score big with low payments, more for your trade, and a huge selection. Don't wait. The clock is ticking at StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study, recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
A men's health moment with Revive Men's Health.
Low testosterone doesn't just drain your energy, it can change how you feel about yourself. Revive Men's Health uses advanced lab testing and proven treatments to help guys feel stronger and more confident.
Learn more at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
You will have a couple more opportunities to text in and put your name in the hat, put your name in the bucket for our Sacramento Kings Kimpton Sawyer giveaway, which also includes a pair of lower level seats to Sacramento Kings versus OKC Thunder on November 7th. One night stay at the Kimpton Sawyer and $200 to Revival, downtown Sacramento's social hotspot. So anyways, we'll be at 12. We'll continue to be at 12. so you can kind of plan for it. And you need to listen at 12 because that's when we're going to give away the secret keyword. And you cannot put your name in the hat without the secret keyword.
That changes both every day and every show.
That's right. That's right. So all you texting in SAC, that is not counting after 12 o'clock. Just wanted to let you know that. Bleacher Report, Kyle, and I'm going to let you take the wheel a little bit here. So Bleacher Report had some interesting trade scenarios, as they typically do. And Zach Buckley, friend of the show, had a very, very interesting trade. And this is one where you got to make a decision. And this is one that could really change the outlook of your roster. And I feel like in a lot of these situations, I typically say, let's do it because we're bringing up a Keon Ellis or somebody like that I think are either older or solid role players, right? We just had a discussion about ceilings. But what if there was a trade out there that included the person on the team that in the very last segment I said has the highest ceiling on the Kings? And that's exactly what Zach Buckley is trying to do. Kyle, give it to me.
All right, our friend Zach Buckley, the whole purpose of the story is trade packages for, trade packages and landing spots for top 10 NBA trade assets. Now, funny enough, they don't list the player that the Kings are trading as one of the top 10 trade assets. It is what the Kings are getting in return that classifies as one of the interesting trade assets. So in this deal, the Kings would be sending away Keegan Murray, likely jumpstarting a rebuild, which it would make me very, very sad since he's my favorite player on the team.
What's up, Sacramento?
In exchange, they would be getting Ousmane Dieng, the soon-to-be probably out of the league Oklahoma City Thunder former first-round pick, 2026 Thunder first, which would probably be in the lower first round, I would guess. It's the best out of either the Thunder, Clippers, or Rockets, whichever team finishes with the lowest record. Top 5 protected Nuggets first, Jazz second, and Nikola Topic, which is the player that Buckley deems to be the most intriguing trade asset. Thunder's first round lottery pick last year. I think it was picked one pick before Devin Carter.
Yes, I believe so.
Picked before Devin Carter, tore his ACL, so missed all of last season. They still won the championship. And Topic is presumably going to be part of their rotation in some way this year, kind of in that Isaiah Joe role. I know Isaiah Joe's back, but I think the idea is that Topic would be the Isaiah Joe replacement. And Zach Buckley says instead of getting another guard, how about they go out and get a wing?
Yeah, and I think he can still handle the basketball as well. He's 6'6", and that's just those heights don't even exist on the Kings unless you are a big man. This is a tough one. Obviously, you're getting 2 first-rounders, and like you said, Dieng. I mean, he goes 6. He's only 20? Is he 22 or 24? But
I think he's 22.
Yeah, and he's 6'9", 22. Obviously, it hasn't really worked out yet, but he is 6'9". He's 22 years old, and he's French.
You love that, but he also his career high is 3.8 points per game, and he played 11 minutes per game last year for the Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, they're the champs, and they have a really deep team. They're not just the champs. They're the champs with a really deep roster. So I don't know that means Ousmane Dieng can't play.
No, but he's one step away from being out of the league. I should also clarify, he only played in garbage time last year. So he played in 37 total games.
Right.
Played 11 minutes per game, which people who don't remember, the Thunder had more garbage time minutes than any team in NBA history last year.
No. But I don't think that's I don't think that's a slight at Dieng per se, simply because of how good the Thunder are. I can go through the Kings lineup right now. How many of them wouldn't be getting time?
Yeah, and that's part of the Thunder having a million first-round picks over the last few
what
years.
I'm saying is I think there's more value than how it comes off, right?
Potentially.
To get a 22-year-old, 6'9", Frenchman that the Thunder, who are typically good, they don't hit on everyone, typically good at evaluating talent, they thought he was good enough to be the 11th pick.
But also only has 1 year left on his deal, so you'd have to sign him to an extension.
Look, that's the icing on the cake at this point. You're getting Topic, you're getting 2 firsts.
One of which could be a decent first if
Yeah.
OKC, the Clippers, or the Rockets have a bad season.
Yeah.
It could be a decent first-round pick.
On paper, you're getting 4 first-round picks on paper because you're getting Topic, you're getting Dieng, and then you're getting 2 future firsts.
Yeah.
So that for Keegan Murray, I wouldn't be thrilled. Obviously, Topic is the headliner here. I wouldn't be thrilled. And whenever you give me these things, I normally say yes just because I want the Kings to kind of make a decision. This is the first time Keegan, who I think could still be a cornerstone for the Kings, this is the first time Keegan has been brought up like this. I'm really, really torn.
Yeah, I guess we should also clarify, because when we say Keegan for 4 first-round picks, people are like, oh my God, yes, sign up. 3 of those first-round picks are not premium picks. It's Dieng, who, as we mentioned, is a former lottery pick, but end-of-the-bench guy with 1 year left on his deal. The 2 first-round picks won't be in the lottery unless Oklahoma City, the Clippers, or the Rockets just fell apart. And Topic is kind of the one premium piece that you would be cashing in Keegan Murray for. Just real quickly, this was Buckley's write-up real quick. As for the Kings, they'd have to make 2 concessions to sign off on this trade. First, that their roster can't keep up in the perpetually improving Western Conference. Second, that their point guard problems did not go away with the Dennis Schroeder signing. Both seem like reasonable admissions. If Sacramento agreed, then it might see this package as a rebuilding starter kit. While Topic lost his rookie year to an ACL tear, there's still plenty to like about his potential as a 6'6" playmaker and shot creator. The incoming first would both be lightly protected, and the second rounder might be a late first given Utah's start-from-scratch slate. They are also still hoping that Dieng, a 22-year-old who went 11th overall, might find his footing if given a real chance.
Yeah, I would say this, man. It comes down to, do you think that Topic could be better than Keegan Murray? And it also comes down to how good you think Keegan Murray can be based on everything I just said in the last segment about Keegan and his ceiling and probably having the highest ceiling or being the furthest away from his ceiling on the Kings. With all that being said, I think I have to do this deal. And here's why. Whether or not Dennis Schroeder works out, and whatever the definition of working out is, you have to get younger, right? Keegan is 24, 25 years old, and I think that Keegan does have a high ceiling. I also have no clue if Keegan's going to get there, and based on what that ceiling could be, I do think it is worth taking this swing, because Keegan at his ceiling, and OG Anunoby would be great. But you still need the people around him. You're taking a swing on a Nikola Topic, who I think a lot of people believe could be one of those dudes, or could be a very, very solid piece to a new core, right? Keegan could be that as well, but you're still looking around as to where you're going to get the rest of the core, because I don't think you're going to get it in moving DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine. It almost turns into, and I don't think you're getting that. You could get that for Keon Ellis, but if it's a draft pick, I don't know how that timeline adds up. I think the reason you're doing it's more so of a collateral damage thing than I'm done with Keegan Murray and I want to move on. It's just really hard for me, and I know they're low-level picks, but it's really hard for me to turn down a 20-year-old 6'6" stud that the Thunder, who do everything right, Sam Presti, a playmaking point guard at 6'6", at 20 years old, you're going to give him all the runway in the world, and he could still play on this team, and he could probably guard the 3. So you're not even necessarily losing there. You're getting him. You're getting Dieng, who's 22 at 6'9". Guys these are player types that you don't have on the team. You're getting Dieng at 6'9", who you don't know what he's going to be, but he's only 22 years old. And then you're getting 2 other low-level first-round picks. I don't see how you could say no to this unless and I think Keegan has the highest ceiling, or is the furthest away from his ceiling, and I think he probably has one of the highest ceilings on the team. I also think that this team doesn't have a ton of players with very high ceilings, which is the caveat to this. It's I'm the tallest because I'm around a bunch of first graders, right? That doesn't make me tall. It makes me taller than I'm taller than my daughters. I'm not tall, but I'm taller than my daughters. You could have the highest ceiling, but the Kings are a team that doesn't have a bunch of players with high ceilings.
I mean, you're above average height for a female, you know?
Thank you, Kyle.
This is taking shots at the board, right? The way the Kings would turn it around is not with Topic or Dieng or one of these picks by themselves. It is you just get shots at the board to try and get the supporting cast.
Right.
This would be in supplement with their own lottery pick netting one of the top players, which we need to run the tankathon as well.
And you know what? I think that's a good point, because all those people that believe in the young guns, right? You really like Nick Clifford. You really like Maxime Reynaud. And we were looking around, what was it, earlier this week when Carmichael Dave said what he said about building around Sabonis, Keegan and Keon. We kept saying, okay, but you need the glue. Like, who is the glue? Who's going to be that best player? I don't know that it's going to be Topic or not, but I don't think it's going to be Keegan Murray. So I would rather take a chance on Nikola Topic and 3 other dudes. And you could still keep Domantas Sabonis if you wanted, because I think Topic is going to be pretty ready-made and ready to go immediately. We saw him in Eurobasket play fairly well. You could still get another draft pick, and then you say, all right, Domas, it didn't really add up, but we're getting there, and you're just continuing to build. Meanwhile, you still have your Nick Cliffords. You could still have a Keon Ellis if you decide to do so. You could still have a Nick Clifford and a Maxime Reynaud. So you're kind of starting a new timeline, if you will. It's the same argument. I know Kuminga has done more, but it's dang near the Kuminga argument, and I understand why they didn't want to give up Keegan for Kuminga, but that was straight up Keegan for Kuminga. This is Topic, who's 20, and 3 other first-rounder adjacent picks and players.
Yeah, I guess I don't even believe Topic will be that caliber of player to jumpstart a rebuild. I just think you're getting 5 shots at the board to build a supporting cast around the eventual player, which I think has a better chance of being your own lottery pick than it does of being Topic. Because if Topic were that dude, the Thunder would not be trading him for Keegan Murray.
No. On the other side, Ja Morant out week to week with an ankle injury. And as we take a look at the West, there are crazy names being thrown around that Bay Area team thinks they have a shot at landing. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
This March, Wendy's is fueling the madness with amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it.
Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem the Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since '81, A+ Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's that's a great deal. You should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
It's championship night at Stockton 99 Speedway, Saturday, October 11th. Pro Late Models, Mini Stocks, Legends, Pure Stocks, and Mini Modifieds in an all-out war for the crown. Kids 10 and under are always free. Grab your crew and hit Stockton99.com for tickets and info. Then be there when the dust settles and legends are made.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
Got plenty of NFL talk coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Also, Major League Baseball. Does anybody know why Phillies Dodgers got the day off yesterday? Why did they get the day off?
Because baseball only does 2 games going up against the NFL.
Well, I'm be locked in today.
Yeah, I think they wanted to do it so that there were like no games today, but honestly, the baseball schedule doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it was a rough go for Philly fans at Penn State losing, and then the Phillies lost game 1. And I saw that live. I guess I realized every season, especially since the Giants haven't made the playoffs in a while, I realized how much I hate the Dodgers this time every year. Like, I was more upset when Hernandez hit that home run than watching the Raiders embarrass themselves. I was unwell when that happened.
So, as a Padre fan, I kind of feel the same idea, because growing up, it'd always be like, well, we're never in the playoffs, so just root against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So that's kind of your playoff rooting interest this year, is whoever's playing the Dodgers.
Whoever. And I do obviously have the ties to Philly, so I actually want Philly to win the whole thing, as I said before the playoffs started. But it's just, and we're going to talk about it at 1 o'clock, but that lineup is just crazy. And it's hard to look at and I know the A's are in a different spot because they're so young, but it's hard to look at the Giants lineup and other lineups and say, man, this is supposed to compete with the Dodgers.
Hey, Brewers look good, though.
Yeah.
Maybe the Brewers are the team.
Get it out the mud any way you can. So some NFL talk and baseball talk coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. As far as what is going on with the other Western Conference teams, as we mentioned, Ja Morant is out week to week with an ankle injury. It just continues, unfortunately, for Ja Morant. And, the injury-prone tag gets thrown around a lot, and you hate to see it. It's just really rough for Ja. And I feel like there's a level of player that didn't get their career ended by injuries, like a Brandon Roy or guys like that, or Greg Oden, but they were just kind of riddled. It held them back, right, throughout their career. I don't know. I guess Mike Trout would be in the same. Mike Trout, I don't even know, is in the same category as Ja, because Mike Trout still had a ton of solid years before. Feels like he had more solid years before the injury started to creep up. He just got a little older.
Yeah.
And same with Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr., he was not, injuries didn't end his career, but he just got a little bit older, and then they started to trickle in, and once they started, they kind of didn't stop. But I do think that there was a pretty solid injury to start that kind of derailed Ken Griffey Jr. in the pace he was on.
Yeah, like the first ballot Hall of Famers getting injured late in their career, I don't think counts here. There's a bunch of pitchers, I think, that fall into this category where they were like on their way, and then they blow out their arm, and it just never works out for them. Like Walker Buehler is kind of the example I think of.
Yeah, and he's still around. He's still trying to do it.
I don't think he is anymore.
Well, he was on the Red Sox for a hot second. They picked him up.
But then they just waived him because he was that bad. And it seemed like it worked out great for the Red Sox. They made it to the playoffs without him.
So that's what's going on with John Morant and the Grizzlies. They could be starting out in a tough spot early on in the season with a couple different guys, Jaren Jackson, Zach Edey, a couple different guys missing. And the other Western Conference team, and this is from Brett Siegel. I mean, this is insane stuff to me, man. This is just insane stuff. So this is what Brett Siegel had to say. Just listen to this line. Along with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Trey Murphy being known, quote, dream targets for the Warriors, we can now add Bam Adebayo to the list. Then he goes on, because it's from an article, an inside look at Jonathan Kuminga's contract negotiations and what the path forward for the two sides look like. So Bam Adebayo has been added to this Warriors dream list. And I got to say, this is getting to, and I don't know, this might be worse than Laker level, because Laker level, it's the fans that are making all these jersey swaps. This is actually reported stuff. And the Warriors having this wish list and of Giannis, Trey Murphy, and or Bam Adebayo. In my mind, I'm wondering, are they throwing a Bam and a Giannis out there so that getting Trey Murphy feels more realistic because they have these grandiose ideas? Let's not forget, this is the same organization that said they were going to create an amusement park, a Warriors-themed amusement park, because they are more than a basketball team and more than a basketball organization. Look, anything can happen. My question is this, though. I guess Giannis is fairly realistic because I don't know how much longer Giannis is going to play, but why would these guys sign up to play with Steph Curry, who's 37 years old, and he's the one that's why you would play. But Steph at 37, Draymond at 36, Jimmy Butler at 35, 36. They're about to get through another season, so unless a trade happens during the season, they're about to be another year older. And then and more importantly, let's say they move off of Kuminga for them. So now these guys are all going to leave. Steph is going to leave. Jimmy might leave. Draymond's going to leave. And Steve Kerr's going to retire. So it's going to be Giannis hanging out. And like I said, they traded Kuminga for you. So it's Giannis, Brandon Pajemski, Moses Moody, and Quentin Post. Oh, and how could I forget? Guy Santos.
And whoever they can sign in free agency.
So is the idea that they would just be getting these guys, if we're trying to figure out a way that it's realistic, is the idea that they would just sign Giannis, same thing, to a 2-year deal, and let's get 2 bites at the apple, and then everybody goes home? Do you think that's a realistic approach?
I mean, it's not the worst idea because you could get Giannis and, sign some free agents around the edges. But if you don't, I've said this whole time with the Warriors, and the Bam Adebayo thing, I'm guessing, is like for Jimmy. So like Jimmy, Steph, and Bam, because Jimmy and Bam played together, I guess is the idea. But with the Giannis part of it, it's a strategy to go all in on saying we are going to build our future around getting Giannis. It's a good choice because Giannis is one of those players we all believe that if you have him, you have a shot at winning a championship just because he's there. But if you don't get him, that's a fireable offense at the end of Steph Curry's career for just, not going all in or not making this trade or that trade. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and if you get him, either A, you pair Giannis with Steph and it works out great, or B, you have Giannis and we'll figure out the rest later because we have Giannis willing to come here. But that's just for Giannis's case. For the Trey Murphys and the Bam Adebayos, it's like I would not overpay for those guys if it meant, we're trading Kuminga and possibly Draymond and future draft picks for a team that's probably not good enough to win. But at least with those guys, you don't need their permission because they have 4-year deals.
Well, we know Draymond is not getting moved. I'm telling you right now.
They're not getting Bam Adebayo then. It's impossible.
I'm telling you that right now.
They can get Trey Murphy because of his contract. I just pulled up Bam's real quick. He's at 37 this year, then 49.6 next year, 53 and 57.
Okay, that's the problem. Because I'm saying yeah.
They could maybe technically swing a deal right now. I don't know how the money would work.
The Giannis thing, I personally just don't think Giannis wants to be in the Bay for 2 years and then move again. So you're either going to come here and hunker down and be a part of the Bay Area, and with Brandon Pajemski and the crew, and I guess Joe Lacob probably believes, and Mike Dunleavy Jr., it's you and Steph and the crew. Steph leaves, now you're here, we are the Warriors, now we'll bring people to help you. That would be the sell, but I don't know that Giannis wants to take over. I think there's something very important about taking over somebody else's legacy. And Giannis has his own legacy in Milwaukee. I just don't know why he would want to come to and I just don't know that Giannis cares about rings that much. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, it's different than like Anthony Davis going to the Lakers, right? Anthony Davis wanted the legacy of being alongside LeBron. I think that's kind of the comparison, right? Is Steph at the end pairing with Giannis would be similar to LeBron at the end pairing with Anthony Davis. I think that's the comparison. But to your point, Giannis is not Anthony Davis. Giannis has his own legacy as a player who's going to get a statue outside of the arena in Milwaukee.
One of the most, or probably the most entertaining week of NFL football came during a week where I thought it was going to be the most boring. Let's discuss what happened. The Raiders getting destroyed. Of course, the Niners continuing to slide up into first place in the NFC because the Eagles couldn't take care of business. All that means as we head into another week of NFL, do not move. Allen Stiles, one more hour with you. Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Born in 1892 to a socially prominent family, she was the consummate athlete, proficient in golf, tennis, marksmanship, swimming, and car racing. Many considered her the greatest horsewoman of the century. She was a pioneer in the field of golf course development with 3 world-class courses on her resume: the Women's National Golf and Tennis Club, Cypress Point, and Pasatiempo. Working for SFB Morse of Pebble Beach fame led to her second golf course development, which many consider to be the greatest golf course in the world, Cypress Point, where she developed a lifelong friendship and professional relationship with famed architect Alistair McKenzie. Pasatiempo in Santa Cruz was her third development, where she hosted the likes of Bobby Jones, Will Rogers, Babe Saharias, and more. Today, her place is alongside many others in the World Golf Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Marion Hollins, a visionary golf course architect and pioneer of the game. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Mark and Tom, the travel guys with you, brought to you by Sports Leisure Vacations. Time for our weekly travel tip, and with it, here's Mark Hoffman.
So you don't want to pay the airline $30 or $40 to check your bag. I get that totally. So you pack a slightly oversized carry-on or even a full-size bag and bring it to the gate. Easy peasy. Now you just store it in the overhead, and when the plane lands at your destination, no baggage claim wait for you. You're zapping out of the airport. Except more and more people are doing the same thing. If you're flying on the cheap and have a high-numbered boarding group, the airline staff may start checking bags because of a lack of overhead space. On most airlines, there won't be a charge, but now you may have to go to the baggage claim anyway, unless the airline brings gate checks to the jetway. Most important thing, Pack your carry-on like it's going to go in the belly of the plane, because it might. Nothing too fragile or breakable inside. Very important.
More tips to make you a smarter traveler every Saturday at 11 a.m. right here in Sacktown Sports 1140.
KHD 1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
So plenty of people are talking right now because, you can't go too long without talking about LeBron. At least that's how he would like it. Another name that's been thrown around with the Warriors, just like any other. If you've been a part of an all-NBA team, the Warriors are interested in you. And nobody else is, just the Warriors.
And you make enough to trade for Kuminga.
But LeBron posted this, when was this? Around 11 o'clock this morning. And it says it's him walking up in a very, very similar fashion to what he did all those years ago and when he decided to go to Miami. And it says, the decision of all decisions, October 7th, 12 p.m. Eastern, with a salute emoji, a king emoji, and hashtag the second decision. Now, this has set the world on fire to the tune of $400. The get-in price for the Lakers home opener against the Utah Jazz was in the 80s, about $85. After LeBron sent this tweet out, they shot up to $445 just from a single tweet. Now, nobody knows what the tweet is about. And there are people, somebody said, I believe it was Brett Siegel said, LeBron has a huge deal with Amazon and Prime Day starts tomorrow. So could this be a fake out? Could this be a Snoop Dogg, I'm no longer smoking ad, but it was for the fireplace, right?
Smokeless fireplace.
Yeah, the smokeless fireplace, and that went horribly. I really, really hope this is not an ad. I think that would just be bad. Not that LeBron cares, but I don't think it would help his brand at all. He's calling it the second decision. I don't necessarily want LeBron to retire, but I really hope this is a retirement announcement, because if this is a play, how many times can we say cash grab today on the show? But if this is some type of ad cash grab, no disrespect to Snoop Dogg, but look, nobody was that surprised. Like Snoop Dogg and even like Shaq, and we've seen some people will do anything, right?
This seems like a cash
Some
grab.
people, these ads, you kind of just do whatever you want. I get that. And LeBron, he's running around with Kevin Hart doing FanDuel or whatever it is. What is that, DraftKings? So, look, get your money. I get it. But in this situation with the hashtag second decision, it's driving up ticket prices. It's affecting people. LeBron, yes, we know you got motion. We know you are the king, as you so-called put it. So I just hope this is really the announcement that it's over and not just some cash grab. Because I defend LeBron a little bit. He's grown on me. Think he's a great guy. He does annoy me on the court. But in general, I think he's been good for the game. But if it is an ad, I cannot defend how people are going to roast him. I can't defend that.
So here's how I know it's not the retirement announcement. When the day comes when LeBron announces he's going to retire, we're not going to hear it from LeBron. We're going to hear it from Shams. Okay? There's no way LeBron is going to beat these insiders to his retirement news.
But isn't that the point? Wouldn't that be the point, though?
No, because you wouldn't be able to tease it like this and have it not be broken if the story were that he's actually retiring.
If there's one person, I would say this, Kyle. Shams has made his way in the league by the relationships he's created, right? And he's been very smart about stuff. There are certain things. Remember the draft situation? He's with ESPN now. Shams was getting leaks, as he always does, but he didn't tweet anything. So I would say that Shams knows there's probably something he cannot do. And if Rich Paul tells him this is, they probably get ahead of it, honestly. They probably would say, hey, this is what it's going to be. If you do break this, and we're telling you this ahead of time, and we're giving you this trust. If you break this could ruin your career.
You think Shams is worried about that? Come on. Shams could get it from not Rich Paul. Like, he's got information from everywhere. And by the way, if it's not going to be Shams, it's going to be someone else. Because
I don't think you're, I disagree. I'm not disagreeing that they don't have the information.
Yeah.
I'm disagreeing that they're not repercussions and that there's not even a level of respect. That's what I would say.
Are you kidding me? This is what ESPN is paying Shams $15 million for, is to break this exact story.
I'm telling you, man.
To plaster it all over ESPN.
Okay, well then if it's not, if what you're saying is correct, then Shams should already have what it is.
Yes, that's why it's not going to be the retirement. That's why I'm saying there's no way it's not going to be the retirement. There's no way.
I don't know whether it's going to be or not, but I'm telling you, there is an unspoken level that I don't even think Shams would cross.
Why? Because of the sanctity of LeBron James's retirement announcement.
I believe that.
I don't. I don't think this is the thing where Shams is out here breaking news about the president having COVID. I don't think this is the moment where the sanctity for the league is going to come into effect for LeBron trying to sell some Amazon packages around his retirement announcement.
I'm telling you, Kyle. I don't know that this is the announcement or not. I hope it is, because I don't want it to be another cash grab situation like Snoop Dogg. But we'll see.
It's a cash grab. I'm just
This seems
putting
like
it out.
a cash grab.
This is going to be. Do you remember when Tom Brady was going to leave the Patriots and he did the thing about Hulu has live sports? He did like a commercial where he was like pretending it was his retirement decision. This is just that. They're just playing the joke. Someone even brought up the point. LeBron literally did this last year where they did the commercial with the press conference and he's like, everyone's asking the same questions and he's sitting at the microphone.
That was clear. That was not this. That was not on his personal. Those are commercials.
Yes, but
those are straight up commercials.
But he posted, yes. And I think this is them just taking it the next step with the marketing thing. I'm guessing it's Amazon because smart people are saying it's probably Amazon, but this is definitely an advertisement. And by the way, an advertisement that he must be getting paid a lot of money for, because LeBron has tried. This is the other reason why I know it's not his retirement. LeBron has tried to distance himself from the decision over the years. Like, he'll talk about it, but he acknowledges it was kind of not his proudest moment.
Yeah, I'm seeing here. Sorry, I was about to read somebody else saying that it was, this is from Harrison Fagan saying, tomorrow is Prime Day. Again, just like Brett Siegel said, tomorrow is Prime Day, and I'm pretty sure he did ads for them last year. So that's what, but as I was getting ready to read that, I see, all I saw was Bleacher Report NFL Week 5 QB grades, and I just see Geno Smith at the bottom with
an F.
With a straight up F. But, all right, look, I will disagree. I understand why it probably is a cash grab, and that does annoy me. But I'm still disagreeing with you that Shams is going to break it.
Yes.
Unless LeBron just does. If that's how it's going to be, however LeBron wants.
No, I disagree,
and we can disagree on that.
Yeah, again, we'll do a Taco Bell wager whenever the time comes. You're
going to get that back. You think you're going to get that back? Now I'm going to set you back another 2 years.
No, I'm telling you, look, when LeBron decides to retire, we will learn it from Shams. I feel so confident about that fact that we will know from Shams before we know from LeBron that he will be retiring.
916 says, and of course I'm reading it because they're on my side, I think it's possible that LeBron would not tell anyone until he makes his own announcement. How come that doesn't seem to be a possibility to you, Kyle? Thank you, 916.
Because
thank you.
He will be mulling it over and talking to people he trusts and talking to the Lakers, and other people will know before LeBron knows. He's not just going to wake up one day and just post.
Hold on. Other people will know before LeBron knows?
I'm saying other people will know he's thinking about it. And remember when Tom Brady retired one day, just like the real last time, where he just was on a beach and he just filmed himself like, hey, I'm retiring again. Unless LeBron is just going to be walking on the beach.
That's what I'm saying. But you're arguing that it'll leak because LeBron. You're arguing that it'll leak because of how LeBron goes about things.
I'm saying it will leak because LeBron won't be able to keep that information a secret.
And I'm also saying whether it leaks or not, I think that I agree with what the 916 is saying, but I also feel as if there is a level of, hey, this is a lot of people think the best player of all time. We're going to give him his respect. We're not going to if Rich Paul puts it out, hey, you will not be getting any more information. We're going to only go through Allen Stiles of Sacktown Sports if you blow this for us to Shams or whoever it is. Then I think they say, hey, you know what? This is the one scoop, the scoop that never was. Shams going to say, I have it. And then 20 years later, Shams going to say, I had it a week ago. But they told me not to do it. They always joke about the black SUVs with LeBron. They told me not to do it. I said I'm not going to do it.
Well, who is they? You mean Rich Paul? His guys?
Yeah.
Maverick Carter is going to be telling him, "Hey, you don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it."
Hey.
No, Shams is going to do it. I bet you that it's going to happen. Because unless, again.
I'll take a Crunchwrap Supreme. They got the double-decker tacos back. They're celebrating the 90s and early 2000s, so I'll take 2 of those and a Mexican pizza. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to believe you, but I promise you, if he has, because unless LeBron wakes up like Tom Brady and walks on the beach and films one day saying he's going to retire, then otherwise Shams is going to break it.
Okay. All right.
Because the other thing is, if he decides in January, this is my last year, but I don't want to announce it till the year's done, everyone's going to know it's his last year.
Okay. All right. Hey, look, and the reason we've been spending our time talking about this because I've been trying to avoid talking about the Las Vegas Raiders and how terrible they were getting demolished by the Indianapolis Colts. Geno in a dome has been the biggest facade that we've ever seen, right? It's just fool's gold, the whole thing. Geno has 8 interceptions in 3 games this season in a dome. 1-4 on the season with games versus the Eagles, Chiefs. They haven't even played the Chiefs yet. Or the Broncos. And the Jaguars and the Texans. Who the Texans, they looked good, obviously, Cooper Rush, but the Texans seem to get some of their mojo back. They put up a 40-burger. Would I consider, or should the Raiders consider putting Kenny Pickett in? Would I do it? Yes, which is a sad statement in itself. Pretty much, Pete Carroll was asked about it, and Pete Carroll said, I thought about putting Kenny Pickett in, but we need reps, and we need to the idea of finishing the process. That's a crazy statement to me because Geno Smith is like 32, right? The whole we need reps. We need reps. I know it's his first season on the team, but we need reps.
I think he's older than that, dude.
Pete, we need reps. Who needs reps?
Geno Smith is 34.
We need reps.
Geno Smith will turn 35 on Friday if you want to sneak celebrity birthday.
Yeah, don't tell anyone. Yeah. I know that.
But on Friday, he will turn 35. What do you
We need reps. You know what that was? That was the same as when Schottenheimer said about Dak, something to the effect of, he's still learning or he can be working on it. Yeah. Brother, you're paying him $60 million a year. What do you mean? What's he learning?
He must have learned something.
I want to learn something for $60 million a year.
He must have learned something because he looks great.
Yeah. Well, no, of course he looks great. There's no expectations. Geno Smith is the San Francisco Giants of football. Once they're cooked, Geno goes off.
Geno or Dak?
Or excuse me, Dak goes off.
Yeah.
Geno is just, I'm at a loss for an F. Is my grade. I would go to Kenny Pickett, and there would be no looking back. I mean, there would be looking back once Kenny Pickett. Because this is the thing. You have 2 average quarterbacks. Average.
That you've now spent in the last year a 3rd-round pick, a 5th-round pick, a 6th-round pick, another 6th-round pick, and $75 million on for this garbage quarterback room, which is not even, like you were talking about Milroe earlier and like the idea of, well, the Seahawks, they paid Darnold and they drafted Milroe and all that stuff, and that's fine. But, like, the Raiders have made investments in the quarterback position just since last year, and it's still garbage. That's what's crazy about the whole thing.
He's number 1. So here's the top 3 in interceptions. Joe Flacco, number 3. He has 6. He was benched.
That's crazy because he didn't even play this week.
Yeah. It didn't look good. And Dylan Gabriel looked fine.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't wake up.
Well, I was up anyway.
Yeah.
But he looked fine. I thought he would run more, and Prop Talk kind of represented that as well. But yeah, he looked fine. Okay, they have a good defense. He wasn't good, wasn't bad. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Still 1-4.
Jake Browning is number 2 at 8, and they finally are saying that they may be open to a QB change. That's the Bengals.
I saw a crazy stat yesterday that Jamar Chase at one point was tied for the team lead in tackles because he was tackling the receivers after
That's
interceptions.
Insane. And number 1, I'm here to run the table, not roll the dice. Please, Geno, step away from the table. We will call the authorities. Geno Smith at 9.
Geno Smith is literally has to be escorted away from the table.
No. He gets mad when his number. This thing is rigged.
Yeah, he's threatening the what is the person who does the
dealer?
Yeah, he's threatening the dealer too much.
So that's what we're dealing with, man.
But hey, Ashton Genty finally can run.
Unreal. Well, now it was. You know what was so sad about yesterday? What was so sad about yesterday? There were 2 things that were so sad about yesterday. Now you know I love my receiver, my running back receiving yards, and Ashton Genty got that in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Right, which was great. Then it went from this is cool, prop talk is going great, to actually sad that Geno got so scared off of throwing picks. Ashton Genty, I think, I got to look up the receptions. I think that brother had about 10 receptions. It was just check down. They're down 38-3, Kyle. Then they proceed they ran 3 running plays. And to me, that's more disrespectful to the fans and more disrespectful to the game of football than just pulling Geno.
Ashton Genty led the team in targets with 7. He had 5 catches for 42 yards.
Insane.
Led the team in targets is crazy. Because Geno,
nowhere else to look.
Geno's the high roller. How is your check down leading the team in targets?
No, there's nowhere else to look.
Gosh, that's crazy.
So I'm done with the Raiders. I'm not touching them from prop talk. My Raider hat is going in not the toilet, but it's going in my closet. I'm done.
Look, Allen, this is the thing I've been saying is that I can't feel bad for Raider fans anymore. I mean, at this point, if you still root for the Raiders, you deserve to feel pain. Like, it's been 25 years. They've played in multiple cities. They've gone through like 3 GM. They're giving you every option to quit, and yet you keep coming back to that old Raider thing, and it just keeps disappointing you.
I'm done. I'm absolutely done.
And you'll be back. They're going to draft Lenoris Sellers, and you're going to be right back in. All you needed was that young quarterback.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you actually do what you're supposed to do, don't get hot towards the end of the season, mess around, and get the 7th pick. Just stink. Just stink, baby. Just stink.
That's why I said Lenoris Sellers. He's not the number 1 pick in the draft. He's going to be the second-tier quarterback.
Well, right now they have him. They have him number 1.
Yeah, it's him and Nussmeier are going to be 1 and 2 in some combination. But I'm saying that would even be a bad idea for the Raiders because the Raiders are still so far away.
I would take Carson Beck. I would take Carson
Beck.
Oh,
my God. That guy looks good all of a sudden. See,
he could spin it in a dome.
No, he's going to be Bo Nix. You know why? Because I've seen him be just hot garbage in college. He had the Maserati of the Georgia football team and looked like hot garbage. There's no way that man is going to succeed in the NFL.
Bo Nix is good in the NFL.
Yes, but it's stupid that Bo Nix is good in the NFL.
I don't understand what you're even trying to say.
I just will never be able to get past the fact that Carson Beck sucked at Georgia. Do you know how Stetson Bennett looked good at Georgia?
Some guys, look, he didn't stink, Kyle, because he ended up getting a huge NIL deal.
Jake Fromm was supposed to be a top pick playing at Georgia, and he's now selling insurance.
Okay, what does that have to do with Carson Beck?
Carson Beck is Jake Fromm.
Look, man, I just think you don't like Carson Beck. That's what I'm feeling, a lot of animosity towards Carson Beck.
You're just never going to be able to convince me that man is going to be a great NFL quarterback. Someone's going to take him.
Yeah, and look, and I'll take him. I'll take anybody. I'll take anybody.
You're the Raiders. What the heck?
And the reality is, in closing, for this little bit of Raiders talk that we're doing, the reality is you're gonna have to trade Max Crosby. Can we just say that? Can we just get that out there?
No.
Yes.
They don't have to do that.
No, they do have to do that.
No, they don't.
Go get some pieces.
What? That's gonna make you further away from being good?
Where are they now? What are they close to now?
It's got to be getting better somehow.
No, Max Crosby, he's not ageless. Like, every year he's getting older.
You've got the best young tight end and the best young running back in the NFL.
The only thing is he can't go to the Niners. If Max Crosby goes to the Niners, I'll lose it. I'll lose it.
I just think I think you're jumping the gun. I think they're just going to hold on to Max Crosby even through a rebuild.
I think he's, you know what? You know how I've said before, athletes can't say this out loud, but the Devin Bookers of the world, the Dame Lillard in Portland, it's not that they don't want to win, but they got a really good life and they're just kind of chilling. I would 1,000% put Max Crosby in that conversation. Yeah. Max Crosby is not sitting there trying to ask out, right? He came up with the Raiders. They gave him a ton of money. He gets to live in Vegas. I think Max Crosby is, and I know Myles Garrett did the trade me thing, but he really just wanted to get paid. So I think Max Crosby is in that ilk. And these are not, when I say this, I'm not getting on athletes for not wanting to win. I'm not saying they don't want to win. I'm saying these athletes have really good lives, and some of them want to just, quote unquote, win where they're at. They don't want to move. Why? I'm Max Crosby. Why do I want to go anywhere? So whether the Raiders trade him or not is a different conversation. But I do not suspect Max Crosby to say, get me out of here. I need to win. I think he wants to win. I think he also plays the most individualized defensive position, where as long as he puts up his numbers, I think he'll have fun playing football. Even if I know he wants to win, I just do not see Max Crosby saying, get me out of here.
All my point is to the Max Crosby thing. You don't have to trade Max Crosby in order to be good. The Raiders, Lord knows, are proof of that. It's the team that traded Khalil Mack and did not do anything with the picks. But I promise you don't have to trade Max Crosby in order to get good. Let's just look. I know it's not sexy. I know it's annoying. But if you get a top 5 pick this year, just draft an offensive lineman.
No.
I know it's annoying. I know it's boring. Just get a top 5 pick. You can trade back to 8 if you want. Just pick a left tackle, okay? Just try it. You've tried everything else.
No, they haven't tried everything.
Yes, you have.
They haven't got their young quarterback.
Yeah, except okay. They've tried to draft Cleveland Farrell. They've tried to draft receivers at the top of the draft, Henry Ruggs on down.
And I can't, but you know what?
They've tried.
Going back to that, I sat there, and I got this problem where teams, they just won't say the name. Just say the name that I want you to say, right? And the Kings finally did it with Maxime Reynaud. I'm sitting there, just say CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
Just say it. All you got to do is say CeeDee Lamb. And they didn't do it.
No. But my point is, they've tried to draft receivers at the top of the draft. I'll throw Brock Bowers in that group too. They've tried to draft receivers at the top. They've tried to draft defensive linemen at the top. They even tried to draft a running back at the top. Just draft an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Just those almost every time hit. Almost every top 10 offensive lineman hits. Just try it. Just try it one time.
No, well, you can try it after the quarterback.
Don't know.
Yes.
You're going to ruin the quarterback before he ever gets a chance.
Yeah. All right, that's enough. We'll see what happens. The Raiders are absolutely done. And, of course, this is a year. I don't know what to do with these quarterbacks. Just go get somebody. Go get somebody. Who cares? Who cares? It's just all a cash grab.
Anthony Richardson's available.
Yeah. Go get Bryce Young. Right? Or whoever is just showing, I guess, the least amount of promise. Go get them and just push. Just procrastinate so we can put butts in the seats, even though you're not putting butts. Yeah, you're putting butts in the seats, all right. You put butts in the seats from the other teams. Okay, let's go through then I'm done. All right. Let's go through the NFL list. Teams that wouldn't outdraw the Raiders in a home game. Okay, the Bills would outdraw them. The Patriots, in Vegas, I mean. Because this is how bad it is. We're talking about L.A. earlier. This is embarrassment. The Bills would outdraw them. The Patriots would outdraw them.
Jets would.
I got the list right here. Jets would. I don't know about the Dolphins.
Not right now.
I don't think the Dolphins
By the way, you were talking about cash grab. But Tua look good in the silver and black?
No. There is no.
You don't want to see Tua? He's going to be available this offseason.
Give me Bryce Young.
Give me Bryce Young. Well, he's not available.
Well, neither is Tua right now.
He will be this summer, though.
So could Bryce Young.
I don't think so.
Pittsburgh, yeah, absolutely. Bengals, absolutely. Ravens, absolutely. Browns, absolutely. Colts, absolutely. Jaguars.
I'll say no.
Yeah. So that's 2. Texans, I think they go pretty hard for the Texans. I think
there's less of them, but they'll probably travel.
Yeah, I think the AFC they outdraw the AFC South besides the Colts, the Jags, the Texans, and the Titans.
Probably, yes.
AFC West, absolutely not. I don't even need to read them. NFC East, absolutely not. Don't need to read them. NFC North, absolutely not. Don't need to read them.
NFC West, probably not.
Yeah, NFC West, no.
Maybe the Cardinals.
Maybe the Cardinals. Tampa, no. Falcons,
yeah.
Yeah. Panthers, they could outdraw the Panthers right now.
Probably, yeah.
And Saints, absolutely not, even though you disagree with it. So, thanks for listening to my TED Talk on how pathetic the Raiders have been, and all this stuff is going in the closet, man.
And you also deserve no sympathy because you've known what this is.
And Prop Talk, Prop Talk, no, they literally ruined. They ruined Schmal and Miles' Prop Talk because they were so bad. The Colts took out their starters. Daniel Jones didn't play. How often in football does a starting quarterback not play a quarter? Daniel Jones didn't play It's not basketball.
It was
Anthony Richardson got a full quarter of action.
And he only threw 2 passes.
Unreal.
He played a full quarter and threw 2 passes.
Embarrassing. On the other side, let's talk a little bit about the Niners on the other side of the NFL. Let's talk about the Niners, MLB playoffs as well, what I need to happen tonight and what I can't have happen tonight. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Footballs are flying. The days are getting shorter. Fall is officially here. Will your heater be able to get you through the winter? The heater at Whiteywood shut down last winter. So who did we call? Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. We wanted somebody we could trust to do the job right and deliver great value, and Lee's came through. Check them out at leesair.com. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating has built a reputation as the leading HVAC company in Sacramento. We've got a new HVAC system that works great, saves us money month to month. Find out how they can help you at leesair.com. License number 635355.
With great deals coming this Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th, greatness is a deal away. So if you love baking, you can get a deal on a new mixer, transforming you into the Lord of the Loaves.
Hear ye, make way for the baron of brioche, the sultan of sourdough, the lord of the loaves, prime member, Dave!
Yeah, hi?
Get up to 40% off with Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th.
The holidays are here, full of joy, family, friends, and yes, a little hustle and bustle. That's why you need Aleve. Between cooking, shopping, and all those extra errands, aches and pains can sneak in. Aleve is here to help with long-lasting body pain relief. Don't let body pain slow you down. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, you can keep up with the season's magic and all that awaits. Pick up Aleve and get back to what really matters, making memories. Use as directed.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbfstockton.com. That's mbfstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
It's championship night at Stockton 99 Speedway, Saturday, October 11th. Pro League models, mini stocks, legends, pure stocks, and mini modifieds in an all-out war for the crown. Kids 10 and under are always free. Grab your crew and hit Stockton99.com for tickets and info. Then be there when the dust settles and legends are made. Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Seeing this reported a couple places, Mark Spears as well as Michael Scotto. Thunder say guard, and we were just talking about him. Thunder say guard Nikola Topic had a testicular procedure today. He will be reevaluated in approximately 6 to 4 weeks. So, yeah, that's very interesting. I guess wishing him the best. That's all that it says. So, not sure what's going on there. But that is the newest on Nikola Topic, who we spent a lot of time talking about today in a potential deal for Keegan Murray that Bleacher Report cooked up. So we will keep an eye on that. A lot of people all over the text line about the Raiders and some about the Chargers. 916 says, it's unfair to criticize past draft picks when there's a whole new regime in the front office. I felt they should have drafted alignment with the first pick and gone for Scatterboo later on. But Ashton is going to be, alignment. I see. Alignment with the first pick and get Scatterboo later, even though Ashton is going to be a force. Offensive line is the number one concern, but it won't matter if they keep Chip in the OC chair. He is a disaster. Another 916. I don't give up on the Raiders because I've been a fan since 1966. I'm willing to give the new GM a chance, but I need to see Chip Kelly walk out that door this year. 916 says, I don't understand what they say. Just win, baby. Just win. When all they do is lose, the Raiders are trash. They should be making all the municipal garbage cans in Las Vegas with the Raider logo on it. They probably will do it if they paid them enough. They probably would do it.
I think so.
Yeah, the Raider. We'll help you take out the trash. It's like just watch a game, and it'll remind you that. Watch a Raider game, and it'll remind you that the trash goes out every Monday. That's how you remember.
Well, it's Wednesday for me, so.
Well, it's actually Monday for me. Oh, yeah, Raiders are on. I got to take the trash out. That's right. I almost forgot. I got to take the trash out.
Monday Night Football comes around, and you're like, dang it.
Oh, yep, I missed it. 916 says, I stopped watching football when the Chargers moved to L.A. This year, I decided to watch them again. After the last 2 games, I regret it.
No, I hear that person, and I'm like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't go back. Your life was probably so much happier.
I regret it. So that's exactly what it is. 916-339-1140. As we discuss the rest of the games, of course, and the Niners, I mean, they made out like bandits this week. This was an outstanding week for the Niners. They obviously beat the Rams, and then I know the Lions obviously won, but the Eagles went down. That was a weird game. Felt like the Eagles were really in control, and they just went absolutely cold. And look, I think that's a part of that is because of some of the arguments that they're having. The wide receivers are still mad. They're just
Brown,
mad all the time.
Not going to go great.
No, they're just mad. Now Devontae Smith, everyone is angry. Everyone is mad all the time in Philly. and you don't get enough cheesesteaks, or like Daquan Plowden said, they don't have any ketchup for your cheesesteak, whatever it is. Everyone's just angry in Philly. They're the only team that would be this annoyed or angry at each other right after winning a Super Bowl. They're the only team in the NFL that would be like that.
I don't know. The Chiefs got angry at each other. But
not the next season. Not if they were undefeated. They were undefeated and just report Diana Rossini. Both wide receivers are upset. So Niners, they see the Eagles lose. The Lions do look good. I'm just not sure how much I can believe them. I honestly, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, watching the Lions lose in person in that NFC championship at Levi Stadium did something to me. I'm not saying that the Lions shouldn't have a chance. I'm not saying anything like that. Just watching them lose in person, blowing it the way they blew it, I just can't trust the Lions. And last season, obviously, they had injuries, but I just can't trust the Lions. So the Lions are rolling. They got a little spicy with the Bengals, but obviously the Bengals take care of business. The Seahawks are cooked. They're done. I mean, it's Sam Darnold. What do you really expect for them to do? I'm big on the Buccaneers. I think they were at 22 plus 2,200 before this weekend. I think that would have been a really good bet to take. Now all of a sudden I'm going to assume that those odds have gotten a little bit better. I don't know that the Bucs are going to be able to handle the Niners, assuming the Niners are healthier in about a week and a half or so. But I really do like the Bucs, Egbuka and the crew. Obviously, you get Mike Evans back. I like the Bucs a lot, and they're kind of my dark horse pick, and they've been my dark horse pick to win the whole thing. I just like Baker. You know that's what it is. So a great weekend for the Niners, and we'll see what that kind of turns into as far as the AFC is concerned. Look, the Bills, none of these teams are going to go undefeated. I think Chiefs Jaguars is either going to be, Kyle, we got to get ready for prop talk on the other side. But I think this game is either going to be, wow, okay, Trevor, you're almost playing worth your contract now. Or, oh, they've had this great game against the Niners, and then they wet the bed against the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs, they're getting healthier, but they're still missing some guys. But they got Worthy back. And, Worthy to me is interesting because I think of him, he is better than Jameson Williams, but I think of them very similarly.
That's a great comparison.
But Jameson. He is better because he will, like Jameson Williams does not have possession receptions. They're just all go routes. Yeah. They're all go routes. He's better, but Xavier Worthy, talk about prop talk, he'll burn you. He'll put up a 10-yard day, or he'll put up a 110-yard day. You do not know.
Which is so weird, too, because they just need any receiver. And, Tyquan Thornton's fine, but it's like, Worthy could do that. He's supposed to be the first-round pick. Anyways, the whole thing is very weird. I'm really relishing in tonight's game as a Kansas City guy because, what was that? 2-3 weeks ago, everyone was like, the Chiefs are 0-2. What is happening here? And it took literally 3 weeks for them to get back to first place. People were like, the Chargers, the Broncos, they might win the division. It took 3 weeks for those teams to fall off.
I can't wait. Yeah, I mean, I am on the Bo Nix bandwagon. You know that. And I want to see what the Broncos do when they face the big bad man. I think that the Broncos could win the West. But the idea that the Chiefs were cooked after a couple weeks. Look, people thought the Raiders were going to win the AFC West after they beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I don't think we appreciate, again, I'm a Kansas City guy, whatever. I don't think we appreciate enough that they might win a 10th straight division title this year.
It's just
like the Dodgers winning 14 straight. All baseball fans are like, this is the craziest thing. Like, they're just the greatest thing baseball has ever seen. In Kansas City, we don't talk enough about 10 straight division titles.
Cheese on the Sack Chat is saying the Seahawks are cooked. They're a couple plays from being 5-0. Really, Cheese? That's what we're doing, Cheese. Yeah, they are. What's their record? What's their record? And again, if you think this is what I do, I close my eyes and I wonder, can I envision somebody holding up? I'm very big on visualization. So I'm closing my eyes, and I get it. You're probably a Seahawks fan. That's, Cheese on the Sack Chat. I cannot close my eyes and see Sam Darnold holding up the Lombardi. I cannot close my eyes and see the Seahawks playing in the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold as a QB. So you might be right, Cheese, but you're not beating the Niners at full strength. You're not.
I will say in Cheese's defense, the nerd stats say that the Seahawks are actually really good this year. Like DVOA, I think, has them second in the league right now. But to your point, it's the same thing we just saw this last year.
Who are they better than the teams I just named off? Niners, Rams, Eagles, Lions, and Bucks.
I mean, they kind of just played the Bucks pretty close.
Yeah, they did.
Played the Niners close.
They were at home.
Yeah.
They lost to the Niners and the Seahawks and the Bucks at home.
Yeah, I'd say they're in the jumble bucket, as
I think they're outside.
Whitey calls it.
I think they're outside personally, but Cheese, we'll see.
I mean, they're probably better than the Packers right now, I would say. Maybe.
Quickly going to the Major League Baseball playoffs, Dodgers at Phillies. I have anxiety. I cannot watch the Dodgers win again. I can't do it.
I understand. I've been there before, Allen, and that's why I gave up that hatred I had in my heart. I'm just gonna see what happens. It's not that I want the Dodgers to win, but if they win, they win. It's over now. The Dodgers won the battle between us.
Dodgers at Phillies 3:08. That's Pacific time. Cubs at Brewers 6:08. Then you get Mariners at Tigers and Blue Jays Yankees. That's tomorrow. Then of course we have Chiefs, and prop talk with baseball is just a nightmare.
Let's just not.
Can't do it.
Imagine trying to predict playoff baseball, Allen.
No. We can't do that.
Who had Vlad Jr. hitting two home runs?
Yeah.
And 20.
Or Dalton Varsho, who looks like he looks like a mini Mike Trout to me. Dalton Varsho, same kind of body type, and he doesn't look like a typical. He's a center fielder. Doesn't look like it, but that dude, he hit 2 dingers. Alejandro Kirk hit 2 dingers.
Where did he come? I thought he was washed.
Yeah,
I guess not.
Turns out he is not.
Put out 23 runs.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So we'll see. And I didn't even give Jason any grief about that. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, the Yankees play tomorrow, as well as the Mariners and Tigers. But tonight, Dodgers, Phillies, Cubs, Brewers. One more segment with you. We got Kayla Anderson, I believe. We have Whitey Gleason as well. Okay, a fully loaded last segment crosstalk. We are going to hit you because we know you want to buy something nice if you don't win these Kimpton tickets. So we're going to hook you up with some prop talk. We're red hot in prop talk for you, and people have been hitting me up saying, Allen, thank you. I can send my kids to college now. Hey, you're welcome. You don't want to miss it. Prop talk, crosstalk when we return. One more segment with you. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
It was a doubleheader in August and really hot inside the concession stand. So instead of waiting for people to come to me, I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dogs here!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
I found out that one of my players was vaping. And I said, hey, right now it's time to be honest with me. And he said almost everybody in my team was vaping. The next day, all the parents came in. I said, how many of you guys think that your kids are vaping? Not one of them raised their hand. There's a joint fight to make something better. We don't sit back and let it happen.
Coach Sanchez is exposing Big Tobacco's playbook.
Learn how he and other Californians are beating big tobacco at undo.org.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
Hey man, gaining weight, dragging throughout the day, losing your drive? It could be your testosterone. The team at Revive Men's Health Sacramento gets men back on track with the energy and drive they've been missing. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations, and witness to hundreds of success stories.
I've seen guys come in worn out, discouraged, and just not themselves. A few months into treatment, they're standing taller, speaking with more confidence. It's like watching someone come back to life, like a light switch gets turned back on. The spouse says, "Thank you, I really have my partner back, better than before." That's the moment it all clicks for me, and that's why I do what I do.
Since 2011, Revive Men's Health has helped more than 120,000 men regain their energy and drive. Start your story today with an in-clinic visit or a secure video appointment. Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000. Or schedule anytime at revivemenshealth.com.
The statewide special election is November 4th. All registered voters will receive their ballot in the mail. Check to make sure you're registered correctly at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 800-762-8019.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
One more segment with you. It's been a fun one on the Allen Stiles Show.
Says you.
Yeah, well, I said everybody, actually.
Okay.
I said, Allen, it's been so fun today. This is
Good.
All that says on the text line, only nice stuff.
Good.
I have it filtered that way. Okay, that's on the text line and the Sack Chat. Joined by Whitey Gleason and Kayla Anderson, who are going to be taking you up to 6 p.m. So, Kayla, correct me if I'm wrong. And this is our first time kind of meeting each other in person.
Good to meet in person.
And again, thank you again for filling in and helping out while I was out. I really do appreciate it. And I know that I turned on, I didn't know because, I'm on paternity leave, so I didn't know what was going on. So, late at night, I'm getting ready for something, and I'm okay. I can't sleep anyway.
Sure.
So I fire up the YouTube, and I just didn't know who was filling in.
Yeah.
And I saw you doing your thing with Chris, and I thought, oh, what's going on? So I text Chris. He gave me the lowdown on who exactly you are. So, yeah, we are really appreciative to have you in the building. It was great stuff. I got to listen for a bit until it was, diaper time, so we appreciate it.
No, I get it. And isn't this business so fun? It's like, okay, who's this random chick that just drove to Sacramento, literally?
Yeah.
But that was
just
fun.
Straight to the studio.
Yeah, I appreciated it and got to meet most of the guys in the station already, which you guys are all cool, and I appreciate you guys letting me come in.
Yeah.
I know. They'll be like, let us show you our real selves here. No, but it's been fun.
Yeah, well, again, appreciate it. I know, and exciting. So I believe off the top of my head, you're here. It's Wednesday, right?
Right, till Wednesday.
Okay, so everybody can expect to hear you and Mr. Whitey Gleason Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah.
And
Jay.
Jay.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out. And I'll never forget Jay. So shout out Jay. We have some things to talk about, Whitey. I know you have a bone to pick with me. But Kyle, first, let's get to some of this prop talk. So yesterday was a rough day for my buddy. Okay?
Oh, really?
He got
for
left
Miles.
on the hook for a decent amount of cash because my buddy thought that Daniel Jones would be running away from Max Crosby and would get a nice 18 rushing yards.
Is this Schmallen Isles?
Schmallen Miles.
Schmallen Miles is your friend.
So
yeah.
Schmallen Miles was dumb enough to have this person on 2 tickets. So he sunk 2 tickets for Schmallen Miles, and part of it was still alive. All you need is one good run. Problem was, Daniel Jones didn't play the fourth quarter.
Nope.
Right.
Didn't need to.
I can see why you're the one on the radio and Schmelling Miles is not.
Yeah.
He didn't know anything.
No, and we were so, he was so close to doing it. The other part of this, Schmallen Miles had a rough go. Sterling Shepard, a yard and a half short on that touchdown. And Baker Mayfield, 2.5 yards short. could have sent my kids to college or his kids to college, and now it's not going to happen. But the good thing about it, Kyle, is we live to fight another day. Kyle, I'm struggling. You know I have my go-tos, and I love them at Clemson. He has not hit his number he hasn't gotten close in the last 2 games. We know that Spagnuolo will bring the pressure, so it's a tough one. It's either between the rushing yards, but I'm going to go with Travis Etienne. He has not gotten close, Kyle. 11.5 receiving yards. We're back on the map, baby. We're back on the map. Mm-hmm.
Well, the good news is if you don't like anything, unlike Schmal and Miles, you just don't have to make a pick, right?
Right. Yeah. I won't do it. I don't need to do it. I don't have to do it, right?
Yeah, no. Miles does, because Miles has a problem.
Right.
I think he does.
Right. Now, I was
many problems,
I was
actually.
torn between that and the Trevor Lawrence, what's also tantalizing to me, the Trevor Lawrence 12.5 rushing yards. But after Baker burned Schmallen yesterday,
I go with Etienne. I think that's the right choice.
We're going to go with Etienne. Receiving yards has not been close in 2 games, which means he's due.
Yeah.
He's due.
Etienne in this case is going to be an ATM.
Oh!
Cha-ching!
Uh-huh.
I like it.
Kyle? I thought he was going to I thought you were getting the womp, womp, womp.
No, that was good.
Kyle, what do you have for the people today? Look, this is becoming one of the biggest segments. People are buying diapers. People are getting to have lunch.
All
because of our picks. They're making a lot of money off Schmal and Miles and the crew. Kyle, who do you have today?
There's an easy one that we're missing, Allen, here today, and that is this. In 4 career games, coming off of a Taylor Swift album release, Travis Kelce averages 7 catches for 84 yards, and he has 3 career touchdowns. So the numbers tonight are set at 4 receptions, 42.5 receiving yards, a 0.5 on a touchdown for Travis Kelce. So based on those irrefutable numbers,
solid research.
I mean, Travis Kelce, just all the overs on Travis Kelce tonight. This is even before he started dating Taylor Swift. 1989 release, 4 catches, 67 yards, and a touchdown. After Reputation came out, 8 catches, 109 yards, a touchdown. After Evermore came out, 8 receptions, 136 yards, and a touchdown. After Midnights came out in 2022, 8 catches, 98 yards. None of those were before he was dating Taylor Swift. So Travis Kelce, all the overs tonight.
But this is the first game. I love that, Kyle, but there's that little thing in my head. The first game with him being engaged, and everyone says that album stunk, so...
Oh, yeah,
really?
hot garbage.
They're getting shredded. She's getting
racy too.
Shredded. She's getting... They're saying it's awful.
Oh, it's
awful.
I haven't been able to listen to the whole thing. It's bad.
The other thing I would say...
How is that different from any of the other ones?
Yeah.
The other ones were actually very good.
Okay,
if you're,
I stand corrected.
If you were a white person
Swiftie.
born in the 2000s like me, you really liked that music.
Gotcha.
The other thing I would say yesterday, terrible miss by Schmallen and the crew that they have.
Schmallen.
Completely missed the most obvious pick in the world. Stephon Diggs' revenge game.
Oh, of course.
Somehow I missed it.
Did you say Schmallen and his crew?
Yeah, there's a crew.
Schmallen has a crew now?
Yeah,
It's
Schmallen
us.
does most of the work, but Schmallen does have a crew.
It's us. We give him so much publicity.
The other one that I'll say, and then Kyle, we're going to get to what's coming up on the show today. Patrick Mahomes runs a lot in primetime games. So it's set at 22.5, which feels healthy. He hasn't gotten close in 2 games. He had 2 rushing yards against the Giants, 5 rushing yards against the Ravens. But Patrick Mahomes runs a lot in primetime games. I know some of his weapons are back, but I would take a look at that as well, because those are the only bets I take. All right, Kyle, thank you so much. That was Prop Talk. Hit us up on the text line and call line, and, of course, the Sack Chat. If we help you, if we don't help you, lose the number. Kayla Anderson, Whitey Gleason, what is coming up on the show today?
We're just going to try to figure out why some of these things that are going on in the NFL are going on. Not just repeated fumbles out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
But kicks hitting the sky cam wire and the officials, I didn't see it.
Right.
Deflected passes hitting the actual sky cam. Yeah, didn't see it.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what's going on in addition to all the unusual and unexpected results that we had.
I think what's bizarre is, as much as everyone keeps talking about the footballs being juiced, and somebody compared it to the baseball era with juiced baseballs, I feel like we're seeing, with that being said, they're kicking farther, but am I tripping, or are we seeing more shanks? I feel like we're just seeing more missed bunnies as well, and I don't know if that's the same thing. They go further, but they're harder to control. I don't know, but I feel like we're seeing missed extra points, which kind of started when they pulled it back. But even just shorter field goals, it's supposed to be, just a layup, and they just smoke them.
It's weird, too, because we're now expecting the longer field goals to hit, and it's almost like the short distance one. Those are the problems that we're seeing more and more often, just like the extra points.
Yeah.
And that's what's bizarre. And I know that 49ers had their own issue with that, but now we're starting to see it with some other guys as well.
Yeah, I don't understand what's happening.
Just go for 2 every time, Alan.
Well, yeah, that's what the numbers say.
Right. Who went? Somebody went for 2 yesterday. Why is it not popular?
It was the Broncos, I believe.
Because their kicker got hurt. Somebody went.
Right.
I don't know if it was the Broncos. It was the Colts.
Yeah.
Because their kicker got hurt, they were going for 2.
Yeah.
Because they could.
Right. And maybe that's the right way to do it. I mean, obviously there's a time and a place, and going back to Thursday, and Schmallen really needed Kyron Williams to get those 2 yards, but Sean McVay, he wore it, and he said, hey, this is what we thought was the best thing to do, because as the old saying goes, you go for it on the road. Now, it felt like maybe Sean McVay was confused because there were so many Niner fans there.
There it is.
He thought they were on the road.
But if you kick that field goal, there's still 3-something left, too.
Right, and then after that, I guess after that, but that's what I said. He was afraid of mac and cheese.
Yeah.
He
was afraid of a kind of cramped up and injured mac and cheese.
Right.
Every time is he going to get up? Is his pants are half off? What is
That's his look, by the way. The pants half off.
What is going on? So, all right, it's going to be great stuff here. We had Brendan Nunez on Whitey, and we talked a little bit about he was on his way to Kings practice, and you'd probably appreciate this out of me, Whitey. I talked about Devin Carter's ceiling a lot today.
Yeah.
And I do think that there is a bit of a logjam, but watching, and maybe I'm getting caught up in, practice film, but watching his jump shot and just the idea of him as a kind of offensive rebounder, just how good he is, rebounding the basketball, I thought, it stinks because I don't know where he's going to slide in, but he does have a pretty high ceiling. It's just the things that he doesn't have a high ceiling in is probably what would get him playing time with the Kings.
I think when he's playing well, he proved this in college and a little bit last year, he's doing a lot of different things pretty well. But if he's not doing any one of those things well, especially shooting, all of a sudden it's like, why do we have you in the game?
Yeah. Kayla, I know you've only been out here
but
for a
I've
little
been
bit now.
listening to y'all about, I got to listen to it because Kings are a whole new world to me.
I wasn't even talking about the Kings.
Oh, I've enjoyed the Kings combo, though.
Oh, yeah.
The drama is real.
They're not going anywhere. I was going to say, you've been out here for a little bit now. Do you have a favorite food spot?
Well, no, because I've been busy with the nephews. I've been doing every weekend. I'm at an AAU tournament for soccer, AAU tournament for basketball.
Yeah, and they start at like 7 years old now.
Exactly.
Right.
So I got 2 of them, 2 guys that I'm going and running around with. So I haven't even been to any food places yet.
Well, look, when
Chuck E. Cheese, maybe?
Yes.
Right. And then they get on the Papa Shot. You go. They're sweating.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Kayla Anderson, Whitey Gleason, they are up next. Don't go anywhere. And, of course, our guy, Jay Johnson.
That's right.
Thank you to Brandon Nunez for stopping by. Thank you to all the callers, sexers, sack chatters. Congrats. Well, I guess we don't have a winner yet, but continue to listen for our Sacramento Kings Kimpton Sawyer giveaway. There will continue to be new keywords throughout the day, throughout the week, so you do not want to miss that. Thank you to Kyle Ledbetter. Great job as always. Until tomorrow, secure the bat. Like the beam.
Like the beam. Don't forget about my podcast.
Don't forget my podcast.
Gotta go.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does